Started my
All right.
recording.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome to. Oh, I need to actually check that again here. We are at the Winter 2026 Aegis tournament here. We have actually gotten through all of the regular groups standing here, and we are now with final boss Coney Island against Femboys. We are just about to get started with drafts here, but I'm here with Tvan to run through this match with you. How are we doing, Tvan?
Dude, I'm doing great. I'm doing amazing. I love me some League of Legends. You know, I'm sick and tired of watching boring Korean, really good League of Legends, and I'm ready to watch the slums of North America the way that the game was meant to be played. I'm just excited to see what chaos we see in the server today.
I'm glad to see we both brought our shovels and trash bags for this actual dumpster fire.
Oh, yeah.
Right out of the gate here, an Aurora and Mordekaiser bans on either side. I don't know how much you've actually looked into either of these teams. I know, at least for what I've seen, Final Boss likes to just let their top laner, Mr. Coney Island, just hang out forever while the bot lane tries to run crazy. You have any sort of feedback here? I know that's really hard with the RNG drafting these days to kind of figure out much strategy, especially with these teams that maybe don't know each other too well, like how the super analytical Gen G LCK types might.
Yeah, I mean, the Mordekaiser ban to me shows that Final Boss Coney Island is probably looking for a tank top, and Mordekaiser is most likely one of the biggest counters that they see that Femboys can play.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of want to take away those side laners so you can kind of just sneak away an Ornn pick. I was curious to see what kind of mid laners were really high prio, because mid laners are the highest priority champs in the game right now. Orianna, Azir Handshake is always very popular, but Final Boss is just going to slam the Karma Ezreal, which is a really strong pushing lane, especially with them banning Caitlyn. It completely makes sense. I can only expect maybe another bot lane, maybe an Ashe Seraphine trade from Femboys, but into Karma, it gets a little sketchy from there.
Oh, yeah. Well, I just see Final Boss just looking at verticality and Eclipse and just doing nothing but high prio. High poking lane. Ezreal's one of the strongest level 1 champions in the game, and really just doubling down on that. The Orianna pick, I just see Femboys trying to enable for Salt to just be nice and comfortable while the rest of the draft gets prioritized, where they're entirely okay having the Orianna's just the all-around champ for mid lane and everything. So now it's a question of what Femboys are going to pair with their Varus. They're taking quite a while here.
You really have to look at a support, but it's always, I was going to say, it's kind of awkward what support you pick into Karma. I'm not going to lie, I really don't like Nico. A lot of people like Nico or like Karma into Nico as an answer.
Yeah.
It is kind of one of those fight to the death kinds of lanes. My thing is if your nameplate is like Ruler or something, maybe you have the upper hand as Varus, but I really don't think Varus is that strong of a champion. I really think it's a bait. With how high prio it is in other regions, I just think that Varus and Nico are going to get shoved in and be useless later on. And I mean, the scaling already from Final Boss Coney Island is bonkers. And if they can secure something like a Xin Zhao on 4, their draft is looking absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, well, and Final Boss are keeping themselves at an interesting range, bringing in the Rise. So still enabling their mid-game options to, at least for if their Rise can actually get rotating around. I remember, I think I'm remembering the wrong side of the match, but Codeine I'd like to think is going to need to be a proactive, moving around, looking for skirmishes with Venom if they actually want to get a lot of value out of the pick so far. Because I'm almost wondering if that Xin Zhao is going to be like taken away at this point.
I mean, it's just such a broken champion. I really think Xin Zhao is the best jungler on the patch. He just does everything. He has a pretty solid clear. I mean, not the fastest level 4 clear, but just good scaling, has a great ult, can engage, can be proactive, loves to play with Karma as well. Like, they are best friends. The only other champion I could see maybe replacing it is like a Pantheon, but you kind of want to save Pantheon for a second game, third game, and Fearless. A lot of top bans going the way for Femboys, taking away a lot of the carries, maybe forcing Femboys to look at a tank, but they kind of already want a tank, to be honest. Like, Final Boss, they're looking for engage. That's the only thing that they're lacking right now, and I think something big on 5 could be that.
It almost feels like that Final Boss are really prioritizing Coney's just doesn't want any of these champions to deal with in top lane. Like the Malphite is the only tank denial, but everything else is like one mid lane, the Nocturne, Syndra, Caitlyn, just to help out the bot. Like there's this big priority from Final Boss Coney line to make sure Coney is comfortable and can. Usually what they do is that they just let Coney be isolated and just handle the 1v1 forever. And I think oh, that might be a jungler actually. But just and then to let the other 4 players on the map mess around, find skirmishes. And the best thing that I loved about Final Boss when I watched them earlier in the season is that they have they have fantastic coordination and a very good go button on when they want to jump in as a team and really activate a fight, even if they lack the tools. Because right now Final Boss have no real engage. Like Viego is the only thing they've got so far, and I'm not sure what they're gonna get for Coney to actually like kind of round the rest of this out so they can actually even do what they want to do. There's not a lot of agency coming out from the bot lane. Mid lane allows to like for positioning, but you're just throwing your face into the enemy team hoping for the best. Questionable decision making, my friends.
Yeah, they don't have any engaged tools, but what they do have tools for that Femboys actually lacks a decent amount is overloading side lanes with that Renekton now in a really favorable matchup of Renekton into Ambessa. If you give resources to Renekton, he can completely roll over Ambessa, and being able to have that Rise ult to maybe stack a 3-4 man onto the top lane or whatever lane that Coney is playing on and just knock them down, maybe give away a couple of objectives for that could be very useful for them. And also Coney Island have a lot of disengage. They don't really need to commit to anything. You know, if they have mantra shields from Eclipse, and they have Ezreal and Rise being the speed demons that they are, and Viego can always just ult out, right? They don't have to commit to anything. And Femboys' engage is also really uncomfortable. Like you have Nico ult, which you need flash for into the range that Coney Island have. And then you're raw dogging a Varus ult or maybe like Ambessa ult, but again, look at the speed and the slipperiness that is on the side of Coney Island. I just feel like the poke and the range that Coney Island will have are gonna make Femboys' life hell. But if they can find that engage, that snap tool to be able to get on top of them, one piece of CC will be the end of anyone on that roster.
Right. Well, and this is where like the full team fight options from either team feel really lacking, because there's no tank in this game at this point. I'd be really expecting a lot of sort of skirmishes, or at least even wanting to prioritize getting skirmishes ahead of main objectives. The tankiest person in this game outside is like Renekton and the Xin Zhao, and that's just Xin Zhao off of his ultimate. So a lot of poppable people, and this kind of sets up the Viego for just a lot of reset opportunities, just one after the other after the other. If they can drop in on someone, lock them down with the Renekton and the Rise, and just absolutely like just blow them up, then this Viego gets online in a fight and will just start piling through. I will point out for the people putting at home, sorry to cut you off there, Tvan. We have the general giant playing the Nico with those Korean characters. Is that name there is pronounced as Gamjasen. We may be referring them as just Nico or as Gamjasen, or my personal favorite, Jam Jam. We will figure that out as we get through this match, but for right now we are still just loading in and going to be waxing poetical on the potential for these two teams as they get into pretty much the playoffs of this league.
Yeah, I was also just going to toss this intermission while we wait for them to finish up that champ select and that 3-minute spectator delay that we always love in League of Legends. So we'll catch you guys very soon until we get into the game.
Thank you for the toss.
Got you, bro. Anytime. This is going to be a weird-ass game.
Well, I'm verifying with Ishan. I can say it out loud now. But I noticed that the mid lane and top lane names for Femboys was not matching. I don't know if do they have subs in or alt accounts.
It's possible. I wasn't paying the most attention. And I see Inferno mid lane.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was there. I used to scrim against Inferno.
Let me check an older match then for Femboys to see.
I do see Salt top and not Wangrod.
Okay.
So that one is different. And then the jungler is Yama instead of King of Nothing. The rest
Yeah.
look right though.
Yeah, they've
It's top
rotated.
jungle. They're
Yeah,
all-
Hanover Boy
Yeah.
has stayed. Yama was the jungle before. Inferno is now and was like 2 matches ago. Moon Princess, and then I guess Gum Johnson's always been there. So
Yeah.
they're
In front of
top,
Moon Prince and yeah.
they're top in support are the most consistent participants of the team. Interesting. Damn it. Okay, I'm gonna have to just go off of the names in the match. Then I was setting up something on my second monitor, but
Gotcha.
that's
I can tell you the names right now if you'd like. I have them up.
Let me see if I can get a notepad up just to make sure I've got some of these you
Sure.
read. Do Femboys. The joke is that I came away from that last match that we did with Dolphy. Ishan, I was like, I'm a fan of FBKI with verticality and everything. I was like, that. I don't know if they had any other matches where it was like the Nexus was 1 health, but that's still been in my head. All right.
Yeah, that was a banger.
Yeah. Alrighty. Top lane name.
Salt.
Jungle.
Yama. YAMAA.
Mid.
Mid through support are all, as the doc said, Inferno, Moon Prince, and Kamjosin.
Okay. Prince. Let's see here. Moon Prince. And Dustin. Okay. Alrighty. Salt, Yama, Inferno, Moon Princess, and Dustin. Alright, cool.
Yep.
That'll be easy.
Also, a reminder, when we're in game, I can pull up like graphs for any stat you want to see live. So just call it out to me, or if I hear you talking about it, I'll pull it up myself. Same with replays. I
You
can
have
also do
access to
replays
my
35
graphics?
seconds back.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah.
He'll have basic graphics for like gold. Can you do XP as well?
I have XP, yeah. I can tell you what I have right now. I have XP, gold, damage, CS. That's it, actually, yeah.
Okay.
I have those side graphs just for like leaderboards, and for gold, when I pull up the side graph, I'll also put up a gold over time graph over the bottom scoreboard. And I can also pull up damage per person over the bottom scoreboard as well.
Okay. But that's totality of the match, right? That's not inside of like the last 30 seconds of like a team fight, right?
I can do team fight.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I'm curious because I'm thinking of all these tools that I've seen on like LCS broadcasts, and I'm like, okay, what
Gotcha.
options do we have? And then
Yeah,
how can we
I can.
Yeah.
First team fight that comes up, if I remember, I'll pull up that view. And you can see what that's like.
I'll direct you if it comes to mind, because I think it's
Gotcha.
perfectly good to be directed and there won't be any disrespect in the exchange. Like have that team fight exchange out. Who was the big carry? Who died?
Oh, so
instantly?
for the team fight one, for the graphic for that, I'd have to click it before the team fight starts. So that'll be me just doing it when I see the team fights coming up.
Then I might ask, and then if it doesn't show up in like 5 seconds, I will assume it's not there and proceed. So
Fair enough.
Cool.
Yeah.
No, that's exciting. That's exciting. That's really. I don't know if Riot finally got their head out of their ass to help other people produce the damn show. The damn.
Oh no, this is third party.
Third party. You gotta hate them. You gotta hate them. Gosh.
This is all
Dude,
third
and
party.
somehow, guess what? Siege is worse. I don't know how. I don't know how.
And that
But
that
somehow
developer is
the
positive on their
stick
esport, like in a healthier way. If
No, not
not.
as much as Riot is. No, Ubisoft does not give a fuck about esports, bro. Maybe tier 1, but like it's bad.
Wolf.
I remember I was casting a LAN, and the LAN build that they gave us an API so we could do stats, but we didn't realize it until after the show. But like every single match, the observer game would crash midway through, so we'd have to literally do a tech pause, like a 5-minute tech pause every single game or every single map. It was so annoying. And then we learned that it was the API. The API was the reason that the observer PC was crashing.
Well, Riot has public APIs. You just have to apply for a developer key and get access, which I finally got. Okay, I'm loaded in the game. About to transition to that. I'll just transition when the countdown goes down to 0.
Heard. Do you want to bring us back in, Church?
I got you. Yep.
Heard. Hella.
We are jumping in. Alrighty. Final boss versus the Femboys. Ready to go here. Can't say I'm spotting anything special out the gates, although Codeine, he's getting a deep ward.
Yeah, exchange of Raptors wards is very important, especially in this kind of matchup of just making sure that neither jungler can really just steal away Raptors. I mean, jungle tracking is ever so important, especially with the lack of a minute and a half now before the first wave hits. But I don't think there's going to be anything super cheeky. I don't think either of the jungler really want to do anything that crazy to flip the game. I think we're going to see a pretty stable map for probably 10 minutes. That's my guess, unless something weird happens like top. But bot's just pushing. Mid is just farming. Both junglers want items and levels early on.
No, I hear you.
It might be a sleeper.
The only thing I really see, and this is exactly how I would expect out of Verticality and Eclipse, they had the scanner coming on down to make sure that early bush ward from Gumjasin and Moon Prince wasn't going to come through. So still maintaining that aggression and priority and pushing Moon Prince and Gumjasin off of the wave. So priority has been acquired. Good last Q there. That's very nice.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing about Karma versus Nico is Nico in any other enchanter lane, she can bully with her Q and not really be responded to, but when you're getting Mantra Q to the face and it does 10 times more damage than your Q, but there's an early gank mid?
Oh, stun hits, locking in, and we're going to be going under. Diving does not hit, and no summoners burn. Both sets of players kind of not really maximizing, and he gets in! Verticality, my Psycho Ezreal is in the match here. First blood acquired. I don't know if the comms messed up that mid lane gank, but that's what I'm here for. This is why Verticality is my guy.
I wanted to bring up the fact that Inferno was the greediest Orianna I've ever seen with not using a flash, but Ryze might have to burn. No, there's no way that gank hits, right? Flash away. Yeah. I mean that's one flash for one flash. That was in Zao, no flash.
That's an obvious good trade there on Femboys' side here. Inferno still, you got to respect being super greedy and holding that flash, because now the options are very limited here for Venom and Codeine. I was waiting for any exchange of summoners there in the mid lane, but nothing really is playing out here. And how far are we gonna go here, King?
God.
And Ignite's been used. Did not note that early on here. There is a teleport advantage here for Femboys for this game.
Wave is pushing into Coney, but it seems that he's oh my god!
Flash stun, and you are slain. Salt has been returned to the earth, and the trigger and bloodiness out of Final Boss has been recognized here, has been experienced. Out the gates, 1.4k gold lead. Teleport has to be burned to get on back. I think Salt wants to try to get some revenge here, but Coney knows this, and he is ready to bring you back down to half health.
Yeah, that's not a good trade for Salt. Salt has to stay. Renekton can just recall with the bounty gold that he got from slaying the Ambessa. The only way that you can really keep Renekton in lane here is just by forcing a trade with pushing the wave or something like that, but, I mean, Coney doesn't really need to do anything. He just recall and take the free base. Pickaxe now up on this Ambessa.
Yeah, big advantage top lane. Bot lane sitting with their advantage. Root hits, a little bit of poke on the Verticality, but the Mantra Q, you gotta love this.
I mean, just Ezra Karma is just a better version of Varus Nico, man. Like, they do the same thing, but just better, you know? Like, it's...
You would think the piercing arrow that can go through the minions means you're gonna hit more things and feel better, but then you forget about the Karma, and now you don't even have 1,000 health between both laners. Where are the junglers? Viego's on his way down right now. Xin Zhao's at his wolves. There's a potency here on the next wave. This is a cannon wave coming in right now. So they've reserved the option that the one might could die, but I think Viego's invading, and there could be a fight here. Favoring bot side here. Codine's looking for the fight. We're getting any sight here? Not seeing who's getting... There it goes. Stolen. And there's the coordination. There's the planning here from Final Boss, and another advantage acquired.
Yeah, I mean, that's just going off of the mid push that Ryze can get in this early lane against Orianna. Orianna doesn't really have the points in queue to be able to match the push that Ryze can, so he's able to lean down to the Raptors and really secure that the Raptors with Venom. But, I mean, it's mostly just a coin flip of the Raptor. And also having verticality and Eclipse be able to just roam up if they really needed to, but I don't think it was super necessary, as we saw. It was just a smite and walk away, take the camp lead, and when you're top and bot are winning so hard, you don't really need to risk any sort of advantage when it's not necessary.
Yeah, they didn't need to go for any. Red buff wasn't it, but they don't need to go that deep. There was a priority going over. Both junglers are around the dragon right now. We're getting a trade top lane. And King Coney looking to just assert his dominance, no pun intended. So bot Scuttlecrab is I believe being taken by Venom at this point.
Yeah, I think it's just junglers making sure that they're not doing anything cheeky, no ganks happening, and again, Venom is very happy about this. Their bot is just getting plates, passively getting a gold lead as well from CS, and pushing Moonprince away. I mean, the breaking point will happen eventually. It's just a matter of time. Getting Karma and Ezreal more and more time is insane, but they're just
that clone
kind of
blockage really trained it out how this went. Oh, that last Q actually saves it. Oh, I think Moonprince is going to have to put up the barrier. Flash is still available. He's going to try to get away, and Verticality is still going to survive. Gamjasin, can you save this? No! Full double kill over for Verticality. And now we have a fight in the jungle. Yama has problems. He's going to have to run away, and Venom's going to steal the blue buff thanks to King Coney coming down to assist with that. I'm sorry, this bot lane is they need straitjackets. They need some syringes in their butts right now. They are too crazy about how they're playing this out here on a knife's edge.
Try to look at the bot lane gold lead and not laugh. It is treachery down there. And the worst part is, Church, this is a lethality Varus who needs a gold lead. He cannot just go behind and still be useful like these other carry 80 carries. Like a Yunara. If you're Yunara and you hit 3 items anyway, it doesn't really matter how far behind, you're still Thanos. Varus needs to stay ahead of the curve. That's why lethality Varus is so good, is because he has cheap items and he has access to items faster than any other AD carry does. But when you're this far behind and Ezreal's most likely going to get Trinity Force before Ghostblade is complete, we are in bot lane hell.
Yeah, and that's... I'm figuring out the pun of how Verticality is in fact brought Moonprince several floors lower than they would like. You are slowly descending into hell. I was going to try to actually, before that double kill came through, point out that the CS has actually stayed pretty close across the board. Top lane might be the biggest gap at this point. It's about a 20 CS lead between top lane and the jungler advantage. But there's so many things on fire right now. It's kind of a question of what can be done by Femboys to start bringing this back.
Zinzao needs to make the most insane gank happen. But the thing is Viego is just matching, and they have the same clear speed. They know that they're matching each other's clear. So Yama can't really do anything bot lane. I don't even think he gets a kill really with, Karma has flash up. There's the arcane shift for Ezreal.
There's a gank mid.
I think
this is the attempt. Flash on Rise though. Flash on Rise. There's no follow up for this.
Wait, he can kill Orianna. Oh, he's greeting.
He greeted out for it, but that kill's going to come through. The reset for Venom, and now Yama's going to have problems. He's going to ult away, but right in your face, Venom's going to take it. Double kill over to the Viego, and I think Codeine was okay and happy to greet that out just to feed his jungler. I think he was entirely okay doing that. Did blow the flash to get the Orianna to flash underneath the turret to take it, but this is still going to be plates over. And this is going to be collected by the Ezreal and the Karma. They shove the bot wave so much that they can just really prioritize the most important lane in the map. And now, I don't think they're going to have a chance against this Renekton here. He's going to run him down. Gamjasin comes up to try to help, but I don't think he's actually helping. Flash in from King Coney, looking for the stun. He's going to get it on in, and Gamjasin! One step too far, and Salt. Oh, he's dead. That's over. I'm sorry. You're donezo. Double kill now over for King Coney. Every one of the Venom, King Coney, and Verticality have all gotten double kills so far in this match. We are 1-8, almost a 5k gold lead over to final boss. You know what's the only crazy? It's actually the craziest thing about. It's the only critique I have against final boss right now. First Dragon's been up and awake this whole time. Hasn't been bothered.
Yeah, hey.
That's the only issue I've got right now.
We're only taking 2 grubs too. Come
Right?
on now.
I'm sorry. That's kind of weak. That's honestly, final boss. You can do better than that.
Well, I mean, we gotta try to find some sort of compromise because it can't be that doom and gloom. I mean, anytime the
Oh my gosh.
anytime the camera goes bot, it's just so sad. I just get a little depressed.
I don't know if your chest clinches like mine does, but
Oh.
Codine's made his
no.
way down here. He's going to EQ. I think he might have gone too far here. 2 turret shots, but Verticality's going to come in to secure the kill. Takes another turret shot. Gemjosin. This turret juggling has been fantastic. King Koni's going to go on in, get some attention, but everyone on the side of Final Boss juggle that tower damage so perfectly. This feels like LCK LPL kind of stuff because I don't know how often you can see this at an amateur level, but they just nailed that rotation, kill both of them, and you know what that dragon comment I had a minute ago? Problem solved. I will relinquish my time for insulting Final Boss on the one critique, the one failing they were having. So,
And something that we mentioned in Jam Select is kind of the health bars that are in the game. Final Boss have a decent amount of bruisers. I mean, Renekton and Viego get a decent amount of HP, especially Renekton being that way. Ryze already has the Roa equipped in his inventory and is about to have the Merc Treads, the upgraded Merc Treads. Ezreal gets pretty tanky, especially with Karma next to him. And so I'm seeing these high HP numbers that Final Boss is going to have, and then I see the damage dealers of Femboys, and I go, Orianna has damage a little bit. Varus is 0-2, doesn't have a complete item yet. Ambessa has really unreliable damage that probably won't land on anyone in the backline. And then there's Xin Zhao. Who kills Ezreal? And who kills Ryze? That is going to be my question the rest of the game.
Sorry, we have a party top lane here right now. The Ambessa has been invited, and Yama's trying to help out, but unfortunately, that's clean. And if... Oh, nope. Okay, I was like, if Baron was up, I'm pretty sure they'd take it, but they're just going to settle for the one grub that they forgot earlier, so they clean their plate, but a little bit delayed. I'm sorry, most of the dishes are already in the dishwasher, Final Boss, but I guess we'll accept this. Moon Prince is trying to get an advantage, and Verto's going to get caught out here. He's going to get the Shockwave up, but I don't think it's going to really dissuade Verticality from phase tanking this ball. I'm sorry, Orianna, you're going to have to run for your life here. The chain's not going to break here. He's going to flash auto. The unrelenting pressure of this Ezreal is, and I don't think he's done here. I think he wants Moon Princess. He's going to land here. Moon Princess, I'm sorry, you're already half health here. Ult's going to tag him, and that's going to be secured by Venom, and we're already done here.
I just watched Verticality get a kill top lane, roam mid, get a kill mid lane, and then go bot and get another kill bot. It's like I'm watching like a Rengar just kill everyone on the map.
I think we're going to be approaching a point where Gemjosin's Nico is going to be worth less than a cannon minion. I think we're on that pace right now.
I think we're already at that point. 0-4-0? There's no way that Nico is worth more than 100 gold.
No.
I think if you get an assist, like it's better to clear a pink ward.
No, I would pay more for a Fig Newton than for this Nico right now.
Those are probably expensive nowadays. I don't even know.
In this economy, bro.
Codina,
one health's going to go on in, but we're going to be secured. Venom's going to get the execution and rolling. Next on the board, Herald's up in 24 seconds. I think Venom's just going to be eyeing it, probably looking for another farm kill on Salt. Femboys treading water here. I'm sorry, these boys, they are dying. They need a life raft. They need something. And I think Femboys are going to be looking for a play here, but I don't know if they can actually kill Verticality. He's going to eat out of it. It's going to get caught up on the root here. Turrets are making the hits, but Eclipse has made the rotation. They're going to get the kill. I did not see who that went over to, but
Went to the Zinzao.
Went to the Zinzao. I guess that helps it spread the gold, but you're going to need some more help than that here. Coney and Salt still dueling it out. So, gold collected on the onto Verticality. Venom's arrived, and another one? Okay.
97 gold to the Renekton on that assist, by the way. I would like the world to know 97 gold for the assist. You just got more gold from that wave. You know, I was about to bring up the fact that there's really only one option that Femboys has to bring this game back into their favor, and it's just playing through Varus ult every single game. Like, Mikhail's was not purchased by Eclipse first item, so they have this small timer before the Mikhail's is completed as the second item to just spam Varus ult after Varus ult. And try to get picks. It can't be onto verticality because he can most likely dodge it, but people like Eclipse, who also has a shutdown, collect shutdowns onto maybe the Rise. I mean, Rise is a hard target because the Merc treads. Probably just trying to kill Karma if you can. Overloading with a 3-man, like we saw in that bot lane. That's kind of the only avenue back into this game. Just trying to grasp at those straws, trying to set yourself up to make them make that mistake to overthrow a little bit. But when you just kind of run at them like that, like nothing's gonna happen.
No, and what they have to sort of start figuring out is how they actually want to trade across the map here. We've only had one turret taken, the bot lane turret, unsurprisingly taken by Final Boss, and it's Femboys may not even have the coordination because they're having a rotation of who their mid laner and I believe their top laner is. Ults used. I don't know how Moon Prince got here, but I'm sorry, your night has been concluded. It's time for you to wake up from this nightmare. They're gonna try to give it over to Coney. Root's gonna come through, and alrighty, well, Karma with more gold. That Mikhail's might be showing up sooner than we expected here, Tvan.
That's gotta be an emotional play.
There we go. They're gonna steal the Herald.
That's gotta be a protest from Moon Prince.
No,
like,
no, I hear you for the protest. I think Moon Prince just said, hey, I'll feed and go all the way to tier 3 turret if you guys go get the Herald, and it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're trading objectives. If I can trade my life for a tower, that's a win. And Inferno is going to get out of that one. Venom showing restraint at this point in the game, and I appreciate that. Don't throw your lead. And here we go. Proactivity. 10 minutes too late here, but Femboys are in, and Codeine, I think you're not going to even get a trade out of this.
Yeah, but look, bot.
Is he out?
Moon Prince is about to get slain as well, and they're already at the tier 2 with 3 grubs. Like, that is a tier 2 gone. You can't even trade towers up top due to these grubs, but they're not even recalling. So yeah, this tier 2's gone. Okay, you get Rift Herald, but it's only going to take the tier 1 top. And meanwhile, Ezreal got the tier 1 mid as well. Like, yeah, you're trading, but you're trading down every single time. It's almost a 10k gold lead, and Inferno might just die again.
Stun acquired. Locked in, and execute. Alrighty, there we go. Took a little bit. Top turret acquire, but if I know verticality, he's chasing Salt to the ends of the earth.
Oh, yeah.
So,
well, Xin Zhao is around.
Ult acquire, put on in here. Xin Zhao's going to... I think he's actually got him here. Verticality's going to ult, but that's going to be a catch over. Verticality has been shut down by Yama. The Xin Zhao's getting some momentum, at least being able to react to these calls. So there is... the tiniest shred of hope here on the side of Femboys as they keep getting these catches. Because at least as I look at this map right now, I'm not seeing a great amount of vision for really kind of either team across the entire spread. There's still just a scanner on Eclipse, and I can't say I recognize any of those as ward items. I could be wrong. Yeah, I think that last one is a ward item. Yeah. So there's still a vision game that's being missed here that's allowing for these collapses onto these side lanes. Because that's the classic thing you can do, and it's what made Rise such a pain in the ass because he has 2 teleports, is they are attacking the side lanes and trying to get some gold out of it. It's just that they, even in the champion trades, it's really rough.
Yeah, I mean, Femboys don't really have an obligation to do that much. I mean, being able to get the tier 2s at this point is nice, but until you get the first Baron, you can't really siege anything. But they're taking total topside control. If they get a free pick on Xin Zhao, this could just be Baron.
Yep, and the vision game actually plays out here. Yama is gone here. Codeine, maybe stepping a little bit too forward. Do they just want the fight? Oh, I think they do want the fight. Nuke's going to get the ult.
Oh
yeah, Johnson's going to get the ult, but they're all dead.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they can just sprint at them and still catch them. That is, I didn't think there was an angle for that, but that allows them to get mid tier 2 and yeah, just ping straight onto Baron. Or surely we do Baron, right? Yes,
I think they're going to try to.
Yeah,
I think they came over here to try to clear these jungle camps and then get Baron. Either way, the worm's dying. The worm's dying. Okay.
Yeah, and it should just be a reset into like a 4-1 or a 1-4, maybe 4-1. Trying to get this top tier 2 and the mid tier 2. That's kind of your only standing gold that you can acquire with this Baron. But they're TPing with Mbessa. They're looking for the fight afterwards, but it's too late.
Yeah, they're already gone. King Coney is low, not able for the fight. But I don't think they're going to catch anyone.
And we
Still
shockwave.
moving. Heard a shockwave, and that's a sombrero hat, I bet. Oh, and Scott, if you want the fight here, King Coney's going to activate his Dominus. Looking to try to get an angle in on someone here. He's flashing away. I would not have really worried about that. And we're into the middle of a full-on fight here. The Renekton's going to go down here. Ezreal's going to get his ult off. Venom Yama's been destroyed. They're trying to get onto this Ezreal, but as you pointed out, he is too slippery, and now the counterpunch is coming. And Codeine is just face-tanking him. Jump in from Venom. He is godlike. And Salt is running for the hills, but I don't think he's going to be allowed to escape here. Executed on the spot. Double kill over to Venom. And that might be the nail in the coffin here. I think they're getting an inhibitor off of this push, Tvan.
Well, the thing is like, Femboys had a chance to slow the game down and slow the Baron down, make it where, you know, they had to really fight for those tier 2s. You know, while they're recalling for the Baron, you can push out waves, push out 2 waves in advance, and make it where you have to wait for the 3rd wave to be able to actually push and play on, and then you probably take the tower on the 4th or maybe 5th wave, and then by then Baron is almost expired. Instead, they skipped all of those steps and just coin flipped to play, and then those tier 2s are now immediately gone, and now you still have the second half of the Baron to play off of. I don't really think you'll get inhib towers off of it. It's really hard to get inhib towers unless, like, Femboys just throw themselves at final boss and just try to coin flip something, which is possible. We've seen it happen time and time again. Also, something to note, no Mikhail's bot for Eclipse. It's instead Shirelia's.
They want to go fast. They want to go fast.
I think it's too far behind to really care. I don't think they care about Verisol anymore.
No. And that's going to be handled, and that's going to be another tier 3. Alrighty.
Yeah, I mean, they try to overload top, and they're too late.
Yeah,
especially when their top lane just dies. Like, this is just... They're just rolling over and dying.
Yeah, there's no ability for them to contest here. The poke from Eclipse and Verticality is preventing too much. And then if they want to get in close, Venom and Kikoni are looking for that. Codine's looking for that. With, like, the 3 brawler types on the top side of the map here. And there's no ability. Yeah, there's no... This is where the engage options on the side of Femboys is also limiting. The best thing that they could do throughout this map has been actually to come topside and just cut off all escape routes. They don't have a trigger button to actually jump on any of these lagging members of final boss as they're exiting. And this is actually pretty good on the side of Inferno, just getting an early push out here mid lane to try to buy some time.
If Inferno recalls with Rabadons here, the game is kind of possible. I know that's crazy to say, but if that's Rabadons in... No, it's not. Okay, no, never mind. The game's really... Oh my god.
Well, Jama's going to go down here from the Verticality, but there's another fight topside here. Salt and company are trying to get something done, but Codine's just taking everything they throw at him and chaining it. Venom is going to jump from one to the other, and Coney has arrived here. I'm sorry, Moon Prince. You will be returned to the Death Realm for the 8th time today. Scoreline's 5-33 here. 15.7k goal lead here from Final Boss. They just got knocked into the dirt on their last 2 matches. I think they're coming in here with a bit of conviction, and that would be clearly demonstrated from how this map started to how it is ending here. Under 25 minutes, King Coney and his group are going to take out the first map here against Femboys. And as long as they don't, there we go. That'll be the game 1 here.
I mean, a really clean game from Final Boss. As much as I want to be, you know, we want to talk about the downfall of Femboys, it was just a really crisp and clean game from Final Boss Coney Island. They were at the right place at the right time. They were playing for the right lanes. All 3 lanes won in almost isolation. I would argue that Rise played or had that one gank, and so that wasn't fully isolation, but top and bot got their own lead, developed whatever they needed to. They just picked winning lanes and hard won those lanes. Femboys didn't really know how to play around losing lanes or how to slow down the bleeding and just wait for their spikes. They kind of played into the game plan that Final Boss was playing. And when you're playing someone else's hand, they're going to do exactly what they need to secure the victory. And that's exactly what we saw from Final Boss.
Yeah, I don't think for a second that Femboys really got to play the game that they wanted to. They were on the back foot from very early on. Even just that little interaction in the bot lane where Verticality and Eclipse just cleared out the bush for it to make sure that they had full priority. They had the poking lane with the Ezreal Karma combo, and the Varus never really did anything. The fight condition that you were speaking about with the Varus ult never really got involved. The only closest thing we actually had to a team fight was that post Baron top side fight. Otherwise, this game was nothing but skirmishes, which I think both teams wanted, but it just did not manifest in a way that was in Femboy's favor at all, like really at any point.
Yeah, and especially when neither team has a clear engage tool to be able to fight back or to create their own team fight that they want. It really is going to just come down to who has the more gold and who can slap each other with their wallets and which wallet is heavier. And obviously, red side, Final Boss had easier to play with wallets and an Ezreal with 4 items, and his name is Thanos, and he's just slapping you. And you can't do anything about it because, again, you don't have engage. You don't have anything to counter him, and he has a Karma right beside him. Whereas you have a Poke Varus who barely had Muramana online by the end of the game, does 0 damage. I believe a Karma Shield could cover every single piercing arrow. Like, once it hits about 10 to 15 minutes in this game, you're down 5k already. The game just feels impossible. I mean, this is a game where people are probably typing FF at 15, and if this is solo queue, it was just a tragedy. But I think Femboys hopefully can take a step back in this best of 3, look at their draft, and try to draft more clearly into what their identity is as a team, get some more engage under their belt, play an easier comp, and then just start to steamroll from there.
Yeah.
They're already next game draft, by the way.
Awesome. So they're already rolling through and speeding themselves up. What I would actually be looking for inside of this next draft out of Femboys, and even both, especially as we're in Fearless, I'm glad I finally remembered that name. It cleared my brain last time. I would love to see Femboys actually pick themselves some more clear engage options for going forward, just to give themselves a better sense of what they want to do, because I don't know how well coordinated they feel they are as a team, especially since they're kind of playing with rotating members. But clear engage options for team fights would be something that I'd really want to look forward to. I will highlight, especially if we're realizing Femboys have picked blue side again, Final Boss, maintaining red side. The bans are pretty much identical, just in a different order at this point. The Caitlyn first, and then the Mordekaiser, Jace, Jarvan. I think Ashe is the change on the ban for Femboy's side, and then Ahri as the final ban from Final Boss, and the Aurora is finally it. Actually, that was the other ban from the last draft. So now we're seeing Salt actually gets their first pick. It looks like.
I mean, could be a flex to top if they decide to. There's some people that like to play Aurora top and mid. A really solid first pick. Again, that is kind of the that power factor that you can have, that X factor that Femboys was really lacking in their last draft. My question now is Coney Island going to just slam a bot lane again like they did last round? Last time they just did Karma Ezreal 1-2. Are they going to do a Yunara Lulu, something like that, to just get a winning lane and allow push to happen? I know some people might just get a prio 80 carry and jungle and maybe match mid here, or just match mid on 2. Depends on what your prio is. Azir is still up if you're an Azir player, or a jungler. It seems that Wukong is his favorite. I was going to say Pantheon is left open, which is really good into Aurora as well, and has a global to be able to affect the map. But Wukong, really strong, doesn't show your cards too early, and allows your 3 to be really flexible. Yeah,
it'd be the question. I would still expect Final Boss to lock in their support, especially if they get more information on this next rotation from Femboys. My research is lacking to actually remember or understand what Femboys' strong sides would be, whether it would be their bot lane, their mid lane, or their top side. It does appear, at least with that Xayah showing, they may be wanting to at least match and take care of bot lane priority picks. But it still feels like Femboys are playing reacting, even here in draft, to final boss as opposed to really trying to pick up and play their own game. Like, I know we're just like picking champions right now, but until I see something out of Femboys that really indicates that they are having a very proactive... There's the Pantheon you just mentioned. That might be a good juxtaposition. And now final boss has to figure out and make a guess whether or not that Aurora is going top or bottom. So Femboys now I would give a bit of an advantage in how this draft is going so far.
I think I low-key might disagree with you, though. I'm not the biggest fan of Xayah into Wukong. Wukong has a lot of options to be able to get away. I was also about to bring up the fact that if you're playing Xayah, you're going to want to look to Rakan. And one of the biggest counters to Rakan is playing Lulu, which is a champion that Yunara really likes to play with. So I was expecting Coney Island to actually play Lulu, but also Rakan Wukong is really solid. Yes, Xayah has an ult to be able to get out of Wukong engaged, but when it's a Wukong with a Rakan, you're gonna get just dumpstered on. You're gonna get jumped on, and yeah, you have a pullback and a root, but it's not gonna do all that much. Pantheon also kind of hates playing into Wukong due to those knockups and the peel factor that Wukong can do. I do like that he has the potential to play with globals and the gank potential that Pantheon does have, just keeping it simple. And so if you can start to accelerate something like an Aurora, so far the Aurora could be a really great tool to play with, but I mean, it's a little awkward to play with when you have a Xayah behind it instead of something like maybe a Kai'Sa or even like an Aphelios Jinx.
All right, I'm looking at the bans here. Poppy and Nautil is taken out by Final Boss, and the Fiora and the Jax taken out by Femboys. So still a bit of prioritization there on the top side from Femboys to keep either this Aurora or or the other pick that they might be having in store for Salt. The Poppy Nautilus just still getting rid of like tankier options, and a Gragas, excuse me, Gragas. It's got to be much more of a Gragas top. I haven't seen Gragas mid since Skara was playing like in North America. So this looks like a Gragas top here for King Coney. I think it's just a safe pick since he's not really entirely sure what he's going to be going into against Salt. So keeping it tanky, keeping it option, keeping the AP damage pretty high right now.
Yeah, it's a good neutralizing lane, especially when you're potentially facing Aurora top. He has really good sustain to play with. A lot of top laners are still in the pool right now. Gragas can kind of either neutralize or just go, even with, or kind of bully a little bit, especially if you go tank for tank. And also the way that Femboys' team fight looks like right now, with their 3 being able to destroy the their line of scrimmage with that cask could be really vital. Xayah really doesn't like playing against a Gragas ult. But it's gonna be Aurora mid and Garen into Gragas.
That's insane.
Huh. Can't say I'm fully knowledgeable on the Garen Gragas matchup, so unfortunately,
honestly, Tvan, if you were
give my
familiar,
insight there.
if you were familiar with that matchup, I would be impressed. I would be very impressed here. I'm wondering if LS is somewhere, just his senses are tingling. And the Cassiopeia,
I love
for Codeine in the mid lane. So we got a machine gun mid laner. We've got really 3 forms of engage on the side of Finalist. Even a flash ult from the Cassiopeia could serve as an engage option. So compared to the first game, looking on both sides of this draft, both teams have a lot of ways to get in. At least a lot more ways to get in. Having the Alistar and the Pantheon to enable the Garen, who I'd love to see this Garen doing flanks and really jumping on the pretty much immobile characters that are on the side of Final Boss here. The Yunara and Cassiopeia. There's the ult dash that Yunara has as an available option, but otherwise this Garen reserves the ability to run in, silence the Cassiopeia, and just spin on her face until she's a pair of boots.
I will say one thing about Femboys' engage is it's very obvious, and it's very just, I'm going to walk at you and do it. I'm going to walk at you in Pantheon stun. I'm going to walk at you in Alistar combo. And that is exactly what Cassiopeia loves to play into. She likes to click backwards and play off of her miasma. The Petrifying Gaze is going to be really easy to hit on a lot of the players on Femboys, as well as just being able to kite back with the peeling that Gragas, Wukong, and Rakan have. I feel like Yunara and Cassiopeia are kind of super duper safe in the backline. But I would say the same goes with Moon Prince with Xayah. He has a lot of space to be able to play with, and a lot of melee targets to kind of hit, which is exactly what Xayah likes, is to hit on these bruisers, hit on these tanks, and just go front to back. But the thing is you know, which AD carry and which carry can kind of carry better. I will say the Aurora ult is also going to help kind of create a lot of chaos in the team fight that will help Alistar and Pantheon play around, as well as Garen being able to just kind of slip through that chaos. If they could overwhelm the peel that Final Boss has, I think they can super duper win this. But if they're not smart, if they don't play their timings correctly, and they don't engage properly, it will be a very tall mountain to climb.
Indeed, and we saw how big Final Boss can build their Coney Island mountain. It will erupt with a fantastic amount of lava to burn your face off. I will be one to keep an eye look on this Garen Gragas matchup, not because I'm truly interested in learning the matchup, because it's insane, but if this Garen does not get off the ground in any real regard, it might as well be a similar cosplay to the Varus of the last match. Because Garen is famously not really used at the upper ends of pro play, on account of it's not a high CC tank, and the silence is noteworthy, and the execution is great even against high health targets because it just is damage. But again, if this Garen does not really get going, it's gonna be a painful time topside. And King Coney is the assertive, old lane dominant kind of player from what I've seen out of them. But I'd be very interested to see if they're going to have that same level of aggressive attack with the Gragas and the Wukong on the top side of the map.
I know the last time that Garen was meta was, I believe it was last year or the year before. It was popularized with like Chovy and Showmaker playing Garen mid, as well as I believe it's Adam that played it a lot into Cassante matchups top in EU. And the reason that it was played really well is because he can sustain forever. He's kind of similar to Gragas in that way, where he kind of just sits back and farms because he gets stacks on his W. You get a lot of damage resist on your W, as well as your passive healing. So he can kind of sit back and just farm. He's decently safe, especially if you go phase rush. You can kind of just auto QE and run away, which is similar to the way that Gragas plays, is either poking with Q or just EQ auto and walk away with passive as well. So it feels like Garen and Gragas are kind of going to do the same thing, where they kind of hit each other and then run away and just kind of look for XP and scaling. And so it just depends on who scales better, which again looks at the rest of the team. How do they fit better? I think Gragas's position on his team and his role is a little bit easier, you know, just E the Pantheon stun, E Alistar combo, and ult away the Aurora and Xayah, and then your job is done. Whereas Garen, you have to sneak past Cassiopeia, you have to try to get onto Yunara and try to make some disruption happen, because those are kind of the only targets you really can kill. We'll just have to see though. Maybe Wangrad is just the best Garen on the planet, and we're both flabbergasted. Who knows?
I will prepare my flabber to be gasted, but I will also be not expecting it in the slightest. So we're going to be loading on in here now. We are getting ourselves on to the Rift, and Final Boss has made a distinct impression throughout this Winter Aegis that they like to do 2-0s. So we'll be getting on in now.
I don't know if you saw at the end. It is Garen mid, by the way.
Did not.
Oh shit! Hell
I
yeah,
saw they
dude.
swapped it up near the end of the champs leg.
That's so sick.
So it's Aurora top, Garen mid.
Okay. I guess that's
I mean-
that's news for everybody in the draft.
What do you think about that Cassiopeia matchup?
It's I think awful for Garen. Not, but he probably also doesn't care that much.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing as Gragas, where he kind of just like doesn't care, tries to get as much farm. But I think the best thing is like with the new home guards, he can just take
Yeah,
recalls
I was
whenever he
gonna say the
can.
exact
And he's
thing.
so fast already. Like,
Yeah, like it's probably worse than Gragas in isolation, but then you realize you're mid lane and you can just reset every 2 waves, and it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, yeah. And long lane for Aurora to play off of is pretty nice, but
Yeah.
I think ganking Aurora is pretty easy in top with Gragas helping.
The only thing I can think about with that like Cassiopeia Garen matchup is just the miasma is like her is what she needs entirely. Otherwise, the range advantage is like super abusive.
Yeah, Garen can get out of it pretty easily with Q, because
Yeah.
Q actually immune
Removes
system
slows. Yeah, there we go. Okay, yeah, I forgot that.
There's
piece.
so many little things about Garen that like no one really knows about. Like the fact that like when you max W, he has like a 50% damage reduction. Like
That's some Alistar ult
why?
shit right there. Like
what?
that's.
That
I'm
chip
remembering
is
when like
stupid.
Zach came out and my friend was like, that's such an insult to Nocturne's ultimate that Zach has like on like a 10-second cooldown. Nocturne's ultimate. That's good. That
Do you remember when Zach was? You would make a giant circle and then you just kidnap
pick people up. Yeah.
Yeah, that ult was awesome. Can we bring that back? Like that was so cool.
And I love that Riot was
Was it
still
toxic
just
to the
like,
game? Yeah, but
you know.
Who cares?
Don't yuck someone's yum, you know. Like it was such a ridiculous time too. It's like, wait, I guess this is work. This feels like a better ult than what he had before. And then after a while, it's like I'm not sure if I actually like this. Feels ridiculous, and
Yeah, but his new ult or his old ult is just so boring, you know.
it really, that's what I remember, is because what you end up doing is that, all right, I've hit that person, let me go pick up my health. So you end up just playing the game of knock up this person, go grab health. So I end up being like this excessive self-healing tank in the middle of a fight that's doing some damage, but like, I guess for what they wanted to be, not as cool as the designer was hoping, I think.
We're gonna be loading in the game about 1:30 earlier than the timer says.
Heard.
So in like 30
Maybe
seconds.
1:45. Maybe a little less than that. But yeah, I'll let you know.
Cool.
I'm loading in right now.
Heard.
Word. You know what the thing? You know the thing is, I still expect them to be hyper aggressive.
Oh wait. Oh no, it is
yeah.
Aurora mid. It's just Salt playing Aurora mid and Inferno playing Garen top, I think.
Oh, so they've done
Okay.
like role swaps all together.
Yeah, it seems like it. Alright, going into game. 3, 2, 1.
All right, well, let's get on the rift here, everybody here. So just for a minor clarification, we got it cleared up by our producer, shout out Aishan, that Salt is actually running mid lane with the Aurora, and then Inferno has gone top lane. Are we already having fights bot lane here, boys? I think Gamsun and Moonprince want to get started, but I don't think this is going to favor the trade for them too well. Got Verticality down to half health, but I still think Verticality is still down for the fight.
Yeah, I mean, this is like POV. You're an engaged tank bot lane, just desperately trying to get the mid push as a support player. Like this is every game, desperate, especially as Alistar level 1. For some reason, every single Alistar player, and this is like pros as well, are obsessed with just like using their W level 1, getting half HP'd, and then like using their health potion. I mean, hey, they got the push somehow, so we'll take it, I guess.
Yeah, that gets them that's the best advantage that's an improvement from how last round went. I will point out for our information that the top lane runes are actually Conquer on the Garen and Grasp on the Gragas. The only champion that actually has a phase rush is Codeine with the Cassiopeia. So, and Codeine's having a little bit of a rough start here. I think Flash used, King Coney having to run away. This Garen having a strong start here at level 2.
Yeah, if you don't go Comet, you can't really do the Q poke, and so if you try to body slam, you can time the W of Garen, but instead it's a gank mid, but it's a 2v2
Salt in a
actually.
little bit of trouble here. He's going to fade away, and Yama's going to get the cleanup here. Venom, you're kind of caught out, and I think Yama's expecting a little bit more from Salt, but Venom's not going to be baited in to the dangerous range.
The wave is so bad. The wave is so bad for Codeine. Yeah, you can TP onto it, but I don't think Salt really cares. I mean, a Darksteel first back, you got the assist, you got the TP out, and you still get the whole wave. Already a
And
fight
Justin's
for the
looking
Raptors.
for a fight
though.
here. He's going to send the Wukong over. Yama's going to try to get something, but Codeine
Got
has
W.
arrived. Great W out of Yama, but I still think he's going to be in trouble, and he's going to go down. Venom's going to get that, and Gam Johnson, sorry, flash used. He's going to get out, but that is a lot of summoners used. We're not even at 5 minutes. We are 3 minutes in, and Femboys... Oh, wait a minute. Let's get this right. So Femboys are on...
Blue.
Femboys are still... Oh, so Femboys are still blue side, and first boss is still red side. Okay.
Yeah.
So, little correction on the top HUD. We'll get that taken care of for you. Okay, now I think it's right now. Okay, there we go. My brain... Either my brain had it wrong or something else, but... So, we're back in. So who has gold right now?
Everyone. I mean, it's mostly the junglers just traded and are both accelerated. They both got the kills from that trade, but I think the biggest winner, honestly, is Salt. Yeah, his team kind of ran him down while he was collecting a giant wave, but he's about, I think, a wave and a half up on Codeine, due to Codeine having to match the roam after using TP to clear the wave. That was slow push from the original gank. And so, again, I think Aurora is going to be the silent accelerator of the whole game, especially with Alistar ganking immediately back.
Gamsung's arrived here, and Salt's been actually dodging everything here. Eclipse missing that, and Salt is actually going off right now. That was a
Salt just actually just made fun of them. He's laughing in their face right now. My god.
That was some quintessential. That reminded me of some Jensen dancing in mid lane, just dodging everything that was thrown at them on the edge of the knockup from Eclipse. So we're in a different game right now, I would say, Tvan. This is looking very different than how the last match went.
Verticality, combo, stun, probably not. I mean, the root could come out here.
I don't think he's going to die, but the flash is going to be used here.
Oh my god.
Counter punch is coming. Barrier comes out from Moonprince, and they're still going to be running down here. I think Moonprince might be in a little bit of trouble.
And there's no kill. But is it good? It's a good damage back, especially because they need to crash this wave here. Moonprince can't really fight back. Pantheon's nowhere to be seen either, so pretty clear base. And I mean, just look at the XPs on both AD carries, about half level up on Yunara.
Moonprince going to be forced to stick around here. Justin going to try to get himself out of trouble here. He's going to clever little headbutt of the minion to escape the knockup. And both junglers are over by the bot lane red buff. We might have a skirmish in bot lane. Mid laners don't really care. Codine's going to get some fangs back in to Salt. Oh, it's going to be jump on in. Here comes Johnson. Moonprince there to arrive here. Venom's getting super low. He's been stunned. He's going to be able to dodge over. The clone's going to take the hit for him.
1 HP. That's a tilter. I mean, he has the timing to be able to just be annoying, but he is losing his blue buff and Gromp, and if Pantheon is counting CS properly, he could probably know that those bot camps are up and could sneak them, but now Wukong is going to be a little bit behind on his cycle. We see about 1 camp's worth of gold, but a pretty big chunk going mid.
Between worlds used here, Codeine will get out of it. The Salt just asserting his dominance here. Coney doing the same, though. Inferno's got super sustain, but I don't believe his passive is allowed to really get procced on account of how frequent the barrels are able to come up. And Inferno, you're in a strange place, my friend.
TP?
Teleport's going to come in from Eclipse.
Gone. Yeah. Huh.
And Coney's down. Coney did not survive that. So, and... Okay, there's a lot going on here. Salt gets the kill on the Codeine mid lane. Ult's used by the Cassiopeia. Eclipse came in, teleported in. He's going to get stunned to be able to get out of it, but he was not able to save his top laner, who got successfully executed by Inferno, who was at 1 health. I know our team's doing the best they can to track everything that's going on, but I am having to recount what's just happened so I know what's just happened, if that makes sense, Tvan.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is a game where you kind of stop F-keying because you just, every time you F-key top or you look mid, it's just inting. If I am either Verticality or Moonprince, I am tilted out of my mind. Like, it's too stressful. Just don't look top ever. Salt is going to run this game over, and Codeine is going to have the worst time ever. 0-3 now as a Cassiopeia into Pantheon Aurora. I was talking about how Cassiopeia has a really easy job, but if you're this behind, it's going to be so difficult to just stay alive, you know? Obviously, if Cassiopeia can get 3 item, you know, get the Roa, get a Seraphs, and whatever third item you want, maybe like a Rylai's or something like that, you're going to have an easy time, but it's going to the delay on those items to get those HPs to survive the burst that Femboys have, it's going to be hell.
Bit of a trade out of the bot lane here. Both AD carriers cut in half. Neither committing. And Salt just doing plenty of work. Venom and Yama going to have a little bit of engage here, but Between Worlds is going to show up, and Salt's going to be trying to run down Venom. Going to pick up the fruit, but they're going to flash on in, take out Venom. We might be going to a third map at this rate here. Codine's going to do his best to try to finish off Salt, but he is not going to get it. Salt now 3-0 on this Aurora, and Verticality has not yet even been allowed to do what he wants. And the Pantheon has shown up. I'm sorry, Yunar, you're going to have a bigger headache than you signed up for. Shield's going to come in from Eclipse. Got to appreciate it, but that kill's going to go over to Moon Princess. Moon Prince well handed off, but Yama might have just... Oh, he got the... Oh, what a finish. Verticality gets the kill, but that was a little bit messy at the end there by Yama. So the entire bot lane knocked out with that series of fights and ganks. And I think we have a fight here. 2k gold up lead on the side of Femboys. We might have a series here.
Yeah, I feel like Venom and Codeine are both, and honestly, I'm gonna blame Venom a little bit more than Codeine at this point for forcing so many fights. I mean, you're playing Yunara, Cassiopeia, Wukong. These are champions that don't want to fight early. Especially when you're facing Pantheon Aurora. These are early game champions, especially Pantheon. I mean, Pantheon is famously, you make things happen early game, and if you're 0-0-0 by 15 minutes, then you pretty much lost. Slow down the game. Let your Cassiopeia get some farm. Stop invading raptors. Let your mid laner just farm and chill and not fight, and life will be a lot easier. Bomba, though, from Coney, but Inferno's fine. He's chilling.
Yep, no worries, no worries. They actually gave up the cannon minion to try to get that damage in. I would not call that worth. I would like to point out my main squeeze, Verticality, is somehow the most restrained individual on the side of Final Boss for this match, which we would not expect with their temperament. And I remember in the last match I casted for Final Boss that against Mid Impact, Verticality was aggressive with Yunar as soon as possible. Inferno, though, topside here is getting jumped on by Venom and King Coney. I don't believe that was according to plan. Ult put out. It's not going to actually hit the stun here. Trying to dodge all of the damage from Salt. But Salt's going to dance all over Codine's face. This might be... this mid lane is going to be in trouble here. 0-5 for Codine.
Yeah, I mean, I can see what he's going for. If you dodge either the Q or the E, he might be able to output enough damage to get that kill. Or at least get a trade or something like that. But... Fortunately, got hit by everything, and the stun from the Petrifying Gaze didn't fully go out. It was just the slow. In defense of Verticality, though, never mind. He might die. I was about to be his lawyer for a second. I can tell that he wants to fight. In his defense, his support has not been in his lane to fight since level 3. I mean, obviously we see him right now, but I saw both supports at top lane at like minute 6. It's not his fault, Your Honor. He wants to fight, but unfortunately the players on his team want to fight topside, which, you know, if that's what they deem as the win condition. But I really do think that they have opportunities to kill bot lane, especially when that first item for Verticality comes online. Obviously, it's a little bit difficult to get onto Xayah, but If you give Verticality some space and some push, he'll slowly be able to win 1v1s against Zaya pretty easily.
It's kind of unfortunate that this might be a fantastic adjustment for Gemjasin on the Alistar to be able to just kind of bully Verticality and prevent Verticality from getting any of the fights that he wants. That's at least what I saw in that last engage. So most of the movement, as you pointed out, has been prioritized elsewhere on the map. So Verticality has been forced to be in this back seat, but at this point, it's not even a significant gold lead anymore, only 291 gold advantage over to the Yunara. But the only win condition, or the only really positive the only positive gold lead right now for Final Boss is on Verticality. So I would be looking for them to try to index into a better lane, because Codeine is in the dumpster, and the top lane, and getting the Gragas ahead of a Garen isn't really much of a win condition, especially on account of, at this point, it's maybe a little bit too early to tell, but I don't believe King Kone is going a full AP Gragas, especially with at least the Grasp as his rune.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a hybrid AP. I mean, just to be able to survive the burst that Femboys have, and the role that Gragas has this game. I do think that, you know, Yunara might have this massive lead of 2k, but it really takes one bad team fight from the Yunara to get completely shut down. But a flash engage from Pantheon. Just kidding. Does nothing.
Fizzles out. So ult wasted by Yama there, and that should give more breathing room here for Final Boss to settle themselves a little bit, maybe get some more gold, get some more time for Codeine needs to finish up his Roa.
Which is nice. I think once he hits Roa and maybe a Merc Treads, I think he can actually survive the Aurora, which feels good. And like I was saying before, it just takes one bad fight for the Aurora to really get shut down. I mean, one little mess up and you're getting Wukong ulted, body slammed, Rakan engaged, and by then you should be stepping on a Miasma and can't move. You can't W away or E away, and then your Nara is just outputting a lot of damage to one-shot you. And there's not a lot of follow-up counter engage from Femboys to be able to slow that down. The burst from Final Boss is pretty decent to be able to kill this Aurora, especially because he's not going any of those HP mage items. He went Storm Surge first item, which is a little interesting. But one thing to note is he has Darksteel stacks, and he might get Dove.
Oh, he's definitely getting dove between worlds to try to dance around. He's trying to get the kill onto Verticality, and he's still going to be running away. He's been lit aflame, but the Wukong is going to jump on his face and going to shut him down. And this is a perfect timing here.
Bomba.
Moon Prince. Bomba Clat indeed, but King Kone is going to chase him down. That body slam should be coming up. Barrier is out, but he's going to be brought low. Yama has arrived to try to come to Moon Prince's defense, and Kone trying to get the Q off, but it is going to fall short. Kill's going to go over to Yama, and we're fighting mid lane. I think Inferno's found his option. He's going to smite down Codeine, but Venom has arrived to get his second kill inside of his 60 seconds of chaos, and he's going to get it with the auto attack. Infernal Dragon's up at 20 seconds. I think Final Boss have figured out how to swing this game back in their favor. Gold is brought back low. We had a nice mountainous situation, a little bit of hills to start out, a little bit of advantage for Femboys as we look at this gold graph. But they just came crashing down there in this last, 2 minutes of action.
Are we letting Coney slide with that body slam? Well, okay, I guess we will.
We have to, for now, Verticality's a little bit in trouble. He gets stunned up. Mid lane's going bonkers. Yama has arrived. They're trying to maintain and keep control of this river. Venom's going to have to give this space here. They do have the crab, but that might time out. And I think Venom's going to be in trouble here. Salt has arrived, and he's going to use everything he can. Venom is brought way too low. I think Final Boss are going to give up this second Drake and find advantages elsewhere. Mid lane's going to be pushed.
Yeah. It's second Drake. Who cares? Let's get mid tower on Yunara. Let's get some plates going. Let's try to get the Fiend Hunter's bolts rocking and rolling. You know, let's start scaling. Oh my God, Koi's going for a
I think you're in trouble.
Kill.
I think you're in trouble, Inferno. Maybe. I was watching that as you were waxing lyrical for the Yunara, and I was not expecting the Garen to take that much damage. Codeine, Between Worlds has been activated. You're in a ring of pain right now. Salt trying to stay on one edge. Pantheon arrives, stunned up, taken out. Salt 5-1-2. Clean dive from the side of Femboys.
Yeah, every time that Cassiopeia dies, I guarantee you he's holding tab and looking at his AD carry's items and praying that his Yunara is named ruler.
Oh, King Coney misses the body slam
God.
here. Inferno is still going to die, but that body slam went so wide. I'm pretty sure he missed the barn, the field, and the house. That was
Hey.
King Coney, if I meet you ever in person, I will be reminding you of that exact play, sir. That was disrespectful.
Hey, Church, a kill's a kill, all right? He got the kill. That's all that matters.
Did he get that kill? Did he get the kill? He has no kills.
Did Garen die?
Hey,
Hey, did Garen die?
don't you change the
That's all that
conditions
matters.
of what you're talking about right now,
all that
Tvan.
matters. Hey.
You did not get the kill.
Did the Garen die? That's all that matters.
I refute your statement, Your Honor. I object.
Your Honor, the top laner died. He did his job. I rest my case. Anyway, the biggest winner so far is still Verticality. He's got second item. Yeah, Zaya has second item, but I feel like Yunara is A better champion, and B is a little bit easier to play in this game rather than
we're having
Zaya.
a dive combo here. King Coney's going to have to play defense here. Herald has been dropped by Femboys to take out this turret here, and Inferno, he did his best, but did not get the execution onto Codeine, and we're having a fight on two fronts. Inferno's going to run away and be able to make it. I think King Coney did the same, so... Wait. Verticality's arrived. Ooh, give it to the Yunara, give it to the Yunara.
Boom.
Venom's gonna have to take it. So advantage final boss. So
Yeah.
diving on the top side by Femboys, they do not get the Gragas, but final boss has they're able to at least collect their Garen, who is struggling a little bit of a 2-4-0. So this Garen, I'm not really feeling it, especially with how much damage we've been able to see out of the Gragas with just the Cosmic Overdrive as a finished item. And I think this Yunara's gotten online. So yeah, we're about to enter the place where I'm really looking forward. I really want to see, especially with how these teams are built. Whenever I see an Alistar, I expect like team fights, and I'm really looking forward. I really want to see a good 5v5. I just feel like these teams are going to still be playing skirmishing throughout the rest of this this match.
If I had to guess, Church, we will see a 5v5 in about 2 minutes when the soul point is up for the side of Femboys. At that point, Garen should have second item. The question is, will Gragas have second item? Or we're going to skirmish again. No, he's fine. He's Rakan. Just kidding. Yeah, you know, even Sean thought that we were going to get into a team fight with the graphic, but we all got baited. He's okay.
We all make mistakes. We all miss our body slams in super easy dives in the top lane.
And everyone's mid laner gets dove.
Codeine's
But
gonna last a little bit longer
here.
here. Oh my gosh, the knockup has actually secured it. The kill's going to go over. Venom has taken out Aurora. And I'm sorry, Yama, your attempts to actually to succeed in getting anything out of that has been kind of taken over. I'm sorry, Femboys, you've been red, and now you have to run. Gamjun taking up the tail super low. The slow from Yunara is going to secure it, and that's going to be another kill over to Verticalities. 2-1 and 2. That might actually be a major flip here. Control of the river should be going over to final boss right now. King Coney having to use his ultimate to get some space. That body slam might have saved the situation, but King Coney's going to have to figure out where he wants to go. And I believe Inferno is going to pull a Verticality and follow him to the ends of the earth right now.
So the biggest thing to note, though, is Venom and Codeine no longer have Flash, but Moonprince, Salt, and Yama still do. So a Flash Pantheon stun onto somebody with Aurora combo is still prevalent and is still possible. But instead, they're just going to Pantheon ult top to try to get Gragas when 30 seconds until Dragon. And this Gragas is going to take so much time that I'm pretty sure this is going to secure final boss their first Dragon of the game and stall Soul Point.
I don't know if are they trying to trade this for Baron King? There's the ult. They take out King Coney. I don't even know if that ultimate was actually necessary. But the dragon is up in 10 seconds. But why are final boss backing? Are they scared?
That's an excellent question.
I think they're actually scared that Femboys are going to take the Baron. Teleports down on Salt. I think both teams are confused about which one's doing what right now.
I'm also confused about who is doing what. No one is doing anything, except for King Coney dying. And, oh, good stun.
Good ultimate put out here, but I don't think Moonprince is going to be allowed to put out any damage. And that's going to be 2 taken out right before the Dragon. Gamjan and Yama not having a good time here. Solt's going to try to get something out of this, but the line drive laser, it's not the name of it, I'm just messing around. Slow doesn't really get much else out of that engage. I think this Garen's starting to win against the Gragas, Tvan.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the average Garen matchup where he just all of a sudden starts winning and just starts pushing lane. But again, I feel like Verticality just having the easiest game of his life. He's about to recall with Infinity Edge. He's able to sell Colt and D-Blade and probably has enough gold in his pocket to be able to afford it. They denied Soul Point because of that fight. And like the thing about these items in the AD carry role is, yeah, Xayah is decently even. Probably is going to be delayed on Infinity Edge, but we'll have it probably by the next fight. But the uptime difference between these two is so drastically different. Verticality is hitting the whole fight, whereas Moonprince has to take so long and wait for things like the Rakan ult to die down and the Wukong ult to die down to be able to start hitting, and then he's hitting things like Rakan and Wukong who can just slide back and leave, whereas the whole time Verticality is able to slip and slide in and out of the fight, play off the Rakan and Wukong peel and engage, and the space that Cassiopeia gives him, it's just a lot easier of a time than Moonprince has. And something that I was really worried about Femboys' comp in the draft was that same concept. From there, you kind of are relying on Aurora to really bear a lot of the weight for the damage and allow Moonprince to make magic happen. But it seems like Salt has been completely silent the past 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, Salt's not been able to really do anything other than try to recover from that river fight that at least got the soul point denied. And now they're just going to walk in and steal your blue buff. So that's how we feel about that. The thing to sort of also point out is that if Gamjan is using any of his abilities for defense or offense, that's going to be the rotation of spells. And so there's this very awkward situation now where the only real engage options outside of just like a, disappear and reappear between worlds engage on the side of Salt, which would probably be preferable instead of a skirmish to isolate and pick out a target. Yama's the only one really like engaging, unless Inferno can find a flank, because Gamjan would probably want to prioritize protecting Xayah and giving Moon Princess that space so that the Rakan and the Gragas, even the Wukong, cannot get on top of Moon Prince and really deny and knock them up and make them vulnerable to other attacks and jumps from the rest of Final Boss. So there's this very troublesome exchange and trade-off of what can and cannot be done on the side of Femboys. Even though the gold difference, it's only 2k right now, it's not insurmountable at this point. And now we're hitting the Baron.
Yeah, you kind of have to put context onto that gold lead and see what it actually matters. And also a big point to look at is IE is finished on Verticality and it's not finished on Xayah. This Yunar is
I think we have a team
massive.
right here. We're going to be going in between worlds, has been dropped on, but King Coney has found the back line here, and Aurora is going to be blown up. Salt is going to have to watch from the back line. Massive shutdown going over, but Yunar is just allowed to free hit and free hit. Garen has arrived, double kill on it, and he's going to be running. I'm sorry, Final Boss, you're going to have to run for your lives. Verticality and Eclipse brought down to 0. This Garen just swung it around. He's going to get his drop on. He's going to spin to win. I'm sorry, you're going to be under the tower. I do not care. Inferno has redeemed himself from game 1 and absolutely wiped out Final Boss with that arrival.
It's a really good engage, but it's actually just the clump that kind of secures the win for Femboys, because all of them eat the same Yunara ult, or excuse me, the Aurora ult, and then it's the Xayah feathers that are sitting, all of them sit onto. They're trying to shuffle out of the ramp, but that's exactly where Moonprince wants you. The way that they played the fight, they just kept going in, instead of allowing Verticality to get a little bit more uptime and play around with their damage, allows Inferno also to just sit on top of them, as well as Xayah. It's exactly the way the Femboys wants the team fight to happen, but Inferno might be the next target on the backside of the play.
I'm not sure about this decision, because this is 3 teleports used to try to get Inferno to confirm this. This feels very questionable.
1,000 gold, though.
It's a big shutdown to be acquired.
40 seconds on Dragon, no TP for Garen. Could be a big swing. I don't think they're going to be able to get the Aurora, though. Yeah, she's out. But I honestly think that's a pretty good play for a Final Boss to swing it back into their favor.
And there's not going to be another major objective to worry about until the next Baron. Yama, I'm sorry. You might be in your jungle, but you're not allowed to be here anymore. Venom's going to be taken on down, and that kill's going to be confirmed by Coney. They're just in time to confirm the kill, if you will. The thing I wanted to point out inside of that fight is that being in those choke points is exactly what Xayah wants. And they funneled on in, and the Navori blades from Moonprince showed up exactly how they went. We're having a base race here? No, okay. Baron buff's going to give the advantage on over to Femboys. But Moonprince was able to get two pullbacks on their feathers inside of that fight, and you usually wouldn't think about that, but the Naveri blades probably is what really allowed the cooldowns to come through to get the pull off when he activated his ult and pull it again about halfway through the fight right before the Garen arrived, and it just shredded the rest of final boss. Mid tier 3 taken down. Salt's going to have to find their way out here. Venom has arrived here. Between Worlds going to be used. He's going to flash out and away, really trying to find spaces. Gamjan has arrived to provide a bit of peel, and the Pantheon has flown in. We're in a very interesting big fight right now. This is 3v5. I don't think Femboys were prepared for the big collapse here. Gamjan's going to go as a sacrificial lamb. Salt will make it out, but that's at the sacrifice of his jungler and his support. And this Baron buff's going to be neutralized.
Yeah, Baron buff is going to despawn in about 30 seconds. I mean, honestly, the trade isn't that bad, especially with the Cassiopeia going to be able to recall and defend Garen. They re-engage.
Going back in here, his Salt's going to blow up. He was not prepared for that. He did not track it. Venom with ultimate in hand. Moonprince is trying to get something back. It's going to take out King Cooney. Moon's going to hold this out here. We're throwing punches right now. I expected the gold lead to actually be equalized with that turret take, but it's still just like 1.5k lead for Femboys right now. But this game is effectively matched right now. How much of that, the question you always have to ask, I would say, about the gold lead is how much of that gold has actually been spent on real items at this point. So, and especially as we're getting closer and closer to that 70k mark, we're all neutral. We're all even. So we're getting it. We're getting a late game match at this point.
Yeah, and then you just have to start to think which team really scales better, and that's kind of the point where I think Xayah starts to take the advantage over Yunara. Yunara has already peaked. The later that the game goes for Yunara, I mean, obviously, she's still a 6-item melee carry, but she doesn't use those items as well as something like a Xayah. Xayah with 4.5 items now at this point. Pretty much outscaled Yunara. Moral Reminder being picked up, though, it's nice. Wukong, though, is a nice scaler versus Pantheon, who's just a stun bot at this point. But this Garen is going to be impossible to kill. I feel like the scaling is kind of... It's pretty even. It's not like one is surmountably more of a scaling team than the other. So at that point, then it's just how are you able to play around objectives? The dragons are even as well, so Soul isn't going to be happening for another 15 years. So it's just really up to this next Baron in the next 2 minutes. And if they decide to make another coin flip play within those next 2 minutes.
Yeah, keeping an account. Oh, and we're going to have a little bit of problem here. I would not spend your flash here, Andy. All right, and there goes Codeine. And King Coney might have blown their teleport for nothing, but the rest of Final Boss look to want to be here. Yama's brought low, and Verticality has arrived here. Teleport in here, and the Garen has arrived. He's going straight for Yunara, and I'm sorry, but that spin to win is happening. Yunara's been brought to half health. Is going for the counter punch, but Final Boss, big 3-man knock up here. Gamjan going nuclear, and still the Garen spinning on their faces. Salt is alive, and I don't think that's what you want to happen. Moonprince has arrived to help clear the wave here, and they can drive this on in and get this turret. This is just in time for the Baron. They're going to be able to take out the inhibitor and probably get a recall off and go assert their dominance and presence around Baron. Do they want more?
They're trying to win here. They have Cask in about 5 seconds. They clear the wave, though. They have grubs, but I don't think it's enough.
They're trying to take these turret shots there. They don't have minions. And Codine's going to be able to get on up here, but is he going to be able to actually catch her or do anything here? The ult from the Xayah is going to go wide. Codine trying to make his mark, trying to get something done here, and big flash recall from Moonprince. That's game. That is the match here. Massive pullout by the Xayah. 6-0-7. What an actual nutter play by Moonprince to just secure the kill, nail this match in. No need for a second worm. No need for another round of fighting here. 6k gold lead to finish it out. We're going to 3 maps. We're going to 3 maps, Steven.
It's hard to like break these games down because there's just so much fighting happening where it's like you can't decide one specific point where the game really swings, because I think both games or both teams had they were in the driver's seat at one point of the game, but then they decided to throw. I felt like it was a pretty even stalemate at that last minute, but it's mistake after mistake, and it's a game of who makes the least amount of mistakes. Codeine obviously was a big mistake maker in that game, being caught out so many times on the sides, also just starting laying off in as 05. And they're just facing the ticking time bomb of the Garen, who was the silent assassin on the side lane, keeping their gold advantage in his pocket, constantly pushing waves, always giving them a path in case a fight was going wrong. He forced players back from Final Boss Coney Island to make sure that they can't really get anything from a one fight, or if they do catch them on a mistake, they can't do anything about it because he already has all of the waves pushed. And, you know, Moonprince as well is outputting so much damage and being so consistent in these team fights, and being able to play fights in a way that I didn't think would have been as easy as he made it look. And I'm really impressed with the bounce back that Femboys had, especially with that lack of break that they really had in between games.
Indeed, no, the mental fortitude on Femboys is on showcase here for sure. But the role swap between Salt and Inferno, and just giving Inferno, I never thought I would treat Garen as a quality insurance policy for how I take care of my family, my cars, and everything. But clearly, Garen was able to be that security blanket for them. We are jumping right into the next draft. Already have gone through, what is it, 10, 20, 30, 40... I'm missing 5, 10, 15, 20 champions removed. We're top lane priority is still in hand. And now what I'm going to probably try to have our help with the producers is verifying who is, if we can figure it out by the end of the draft, who is in what role. Because Salt did a monster carry to get Femboys out the gate running hot with fire at the beginning of that. It was the major team fight there by Baron that where Moonprince was able to get the full recall, and Inferno was there to actually run down the rest of Final Boss to really secure the agency back into Femboys to reclaim that match. So I'm very curious to see where sort of the agency and champion priority is given inside of this next draft, because I would still expect like Final Boss Coney Island to give King Coney a pretty high agency top lane champion. I would still expect the bot lane to get first rotation or even second rotation pick. And I'm curious who's gotten blue side and red side on this, but we might have to delay on that. So bans look more or less the same. The Poppy is an earlier rotation. The Aurora's out. We're going to see a whole bunch of new champions this time for sure.
Ray being the first pick is, I was about to say, I think what you want to look at in this game 3 is just looking for champions that want to fight, because these games are just pure bloodbaths. I mean, every single like reset, you're immediately fighting. There's no farming, there's no neutral game. It is just someone's always invading a raptor, someone's always contesting a crab, someone's always looking for a dragon. So pick a champion that wants that, and Ari is one of them. Viego was so successful with doing that in game 1. Game 2 with the Aurora and Pantheon were always fighting, which is exactly what they want to be doing and why they got such an early lead into the Wukong Cassiopeia. And so leaning into that is something that I think is really smart. Syndra being a counter pick into Ari is nice, but again, that's not a champion that really wants to be playing in these scrappy fights. I would have preferred something maybe like an Akali or one of those kind of, or Silas that also wants to brawl, also wants to get things going, to kind of play into that style as well, because it's not just Femboys that are the ones that are doing. To be honest, I think it's more Final Boss Coney Island that are setting the pace and setting the tone. I mean, Venom is the one that is constantly invading, constantly making things happening, never knowing when to just chill and take his own camp. So it's interesting that they're kind of playing away from their own style that they want.
Indeed, indeed. What I would be wanting to see paired off with this Ahri would even be a Vi. The proactivity out of Yama, like I like that both these junglers and both these mid laners, at least with Salt as the mid lane for the last match, have been relatively proactive in making things happen and trying to assert themselves. It's kind of nice when you realize that maybe Inferno might be the most passive player, perhaps on the side of Femboys, but the other 9 players in this match are prioritizing Gem Johnson getting an. I want Gem Johnson on, like, he's going to get this Thresh here, and I hope that sort of works as sort of a pseudo tank, like kind of a kind of thick engage. But I love Gem Johnson on the Alistar, that final triple knock up to sort of get towards the finishing of the game, pushing verticality away from getting the fights that he wanted in the bot lane. Really big shout out to Gam Johnson on that. So still looks like we're heading in sort of a team fight area between the Rel and the Thresh. I would still, especially with the hyper carry of the Jinx, I'd still want Femboys to even try to get some sort of tank option on the top side. There's the Vi ban from Final Boss to deny that combo for the mid lane jungle synergy.
Yeah, I really think building a comp that is just easy to play seems to also be successful. Play something like a Scion or play something like an Ornn that can just press a button and get engaged going. I mean, the Malphite was something I was thinking about as well. Maybe not as much this game, but it's already banned out. Just something that has a go button. You have a Jinx, you have an Arg. You don't really need to worry about damage. Just go. Thresh isn't really an engage nowadays. Unfortunately, his identity has changed to be kind of this enchanter-esque champion where you're peeling with Flay, you're playing for Lantern, especially if you're playing with Jinx. You're kind of the dash that the Jinx needs. You're the pseudo dash for her. And your hook is also, I mean, it can be an engage tool, but it's also used as a peeling tool. I really like this Nocturne pick, though, to just get the pace going and make this Jinx life hell. And it's going to be a test of how good is this Thresh at peeling for the Jinx and positioning properly to make the Jinx's life a little bit easier to play around. And can the Nocturne stick with Rel engage and Syndra stuns on top of that and things like that, and allow this Corki to just get damage down. But oof, that Mundo pick is massive.
I think Femboys want to scale between the Mundo and the Jinx pick. If this game goes as long as Game 2 went, Final Boss are going to be in a world of hurt because there's no one. I don't think anyone on the side of Final Boss can actually kill Mundo at this point. And especially if Corki still has primary magic damage in terms of his build and what his auto attack damage split is, neither of the carries can actually kill this Mundo.
They did change Corki to be mostly like AD / magic, or not magic, excuse me, true damage. He doesn't really have that much magic damage anymore as he used to. But he still is not a great tank dealer. He can shred a little bit of armor on his E, like early on he kind of can, but he's not like one of those champions where it's like, oh, he can kill a Mundo, something like a Kai'Sa would have been better to really just get that percentage P pumping. And oh my god, it's a Rengar top.
No, oh my god, is Dardoch in this match? Did I miss something? So Rengar top lane, we're about to see Rengar, that's going to be a Rengar top lane into the Gnar. So I believe this would be it sounds like it'd be a specialized counter pick to really bully the mini Gnar and really allow for Coney. This is I think it's a special sauce piece out of Coney to really bully Inferno if it's Inferno running this top side. That's my current guess of how this is going. This also means that Final Boss are going to have to they're going to want to be indexing into a sideline situation where either the Corki, let me think about this, where the Syndra is matching with the Ahri, more or less to just catch waves, but the Rengar is going to be the one that wants to really push side waves and use his ultimate to either jump on picks or to get out.
I am really worried for Final Boss Coney in this game. I really worry about their damage, because it's very... it's
an early game comp. It's an early
It's
game
just
talk,
not
like,
good damage.
it's not.
To be honest, like Corki can't really hit anything past Mundo and Gnar. And Ari, there's not really any reliable CC to hit on Ari other than Nocturne Fear. But again, she can kind of just Spirit Dash away from the Nocturne. Like, who is gonna get her down? And Jinx also has the Thresh to play around. In Mundo, Gnar peels so well. I feel like Femboys' comp is A, just better fundamentally, and B, has is just easier. It's just five man, go mid, use Gnar to just engage, just run at them, and peel the Nocturne. That's all you really have to do. That being said, though, something that you did bring up is, can Nocturne get someone really scaled and really accelerated and they keep the pressure going on the side lane? That is the question that is going to be in my head, and I'm going to be watching Venom very closely this game. I'm assuming the target is probably going to be Wangrod on Gnar against King Coney. Can you just kill him over and over and perma-dive him with Nocturne ult after Nocturne ult and allow Rengar to dominate the side lane? Because if, you get Rengar fed enough, he's a really big menace to deal with. But again, then comes the question of, once Mundo rocks up, is Rengar going to do anything to Mundo? Hell no.
Yeah.
I really don't think so. I think Mundo just beats him up.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be books to the face and business cases up his butt. I don't think King Kona is going to have a good time if this Rengar gets ahead. If this Rengar does not get ahead. If anything, as far as I'm reading this, the entire playbook out of Final Boss is Codeine clears lanes, maybe gets a snipe onto Moonprince, but this Rengar has to just shove waves and abuse the Gnar with Venom supporting him. I imagine Eclipse is going to be rotating up. Verticality, I don't really treat the great Bombardier that is Corki as a really all-in kind of AD carry that wants to just go in and face and just mow down their opponent. Like, it's gonna take a while for the Jinx to really get online, and the poke from the Corki I can see being a benefit in the earlier parts of this game, but I just don't expect this. I don't expect Final Boss to be able to deal with the Mundo. It feels like a very unreliable plan to try to just index on this Rengar becoming a side lane menace that's just going to constantly abuse this Gnar. This feels like a very questionable draft on the side of Final Boss. Would be my take.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but you never really know what could happen. Femboys, they might just all have their keyboards disconnect, and then somehow Venom is ulting in, and you never know. Another target that I did want to mention before we get into our break is the Thresh as a target in Jinx, because Thresh is really squishy nowadays. He doesn't really build that much tank.
No.
So Nocturne ulting and then getting verticality to go. A fed Corki actually does pump out a lot of damage if you get a lot of his early items online. Getting Muramana, Trinity Force, get an IE third, fourth item. He can really start to pump a lot of damage. He kind of is like a more ability based, like he's paired with Nami's a lot recently too, with just pumping out a lot of damage. We'll just have to see. But until then, we are going to take a quick break as we have to wait for the spectator delay, and we'll be back to see the results soon.
Ishon, where are your bets?
I've seen Coney Rengar do criminal things. It's like his pocket pick he's known for.
I was really like, good or bad criminal things. Like, does this man need to be
Good,
arrested, or
good,
does he
good
need to be on a
things,
watch
good
list?
things.
Like,
I can see it. I can see the Gnar matchup being good for Rengar. I'm imagining it to work similarly to kind of like why Yasuo or Aurelia is so good into Gnar. Is just like you kind of just have, like, if you can play a champion that can just get on top of mini Gnar and just beat him up, then you're gonna win.
It's so over.
Yeah, that's pretty much why.
Like,
I've seen Coney play the same matchup before. It usually goes pretty well for him. But like, I mean, if you're asking what I think, same thing you guys said, to where like, how the hell does Mundo die unless Corki's Giga ahead?
Yeah.
Unless Corki has like LDR/Mortal before Mundo's at like second item.
Yeah. The only other reliable thing they have is like pop. Like if this goes into a 5v5 or kind of like standoff like a near Baron or Dragon, it's either pop the Gnar before he goes Mega, Like popping the Thresh, sure, but like that's almost, you'd almost prefer the Syndra ult go onto the Thresh than onto like the Jinx. So it's like the Jinx is the win condition, you could say, but I would still expect, like, especially if it's like Heartsteel second or third item on this Mundo, he's just gonna walk through and just start smacking faces, like.
Yeah.
Oh, one Heartsteel proc here. Oh, Mundo gets another Heartsteel proc here.
Just one of the most satisfying things to do. I almost cheated in there during the draft phase. Like, yeah, Thresh is only tanky in ARAM.
Yeah, the Thresh champ is kind of shit nowadays.
He
like,
is, man. Especially when if you were up in the days when he was brought online by I forget if it was Mad Life or whatnot.
Oh, yeah,
The times when Thresh is good is when every other champ sucks.
Yeah,
Well, these
that's
days.
the thing.
Thresh
It's like
is never in itself good. It's good when everything else is worse.
Which is
Yeah.
such a bad sign. It's crazy to realize like Blitzcrank became a more reliable like hook champion than Thresh.
yeah,
like-
because it's just like easy kill. But also the reason that Blitzcrank is good, like the reason Blitzcrank was played because it was Blitzcrank Maokai, you know. So it's like it was a whole poke comp. You know, it was the Genji Classic, yeah.
I miss the double mask build from like a season or from like a year or two ago, where you could go like Malphite like double mask and be super tanky but get massive AB. I think the Omni Omewrecker or whatnot has kind of done that, but you kind of wish you could do Heartsteel Omewrecker and actually be an AP threat in at least the silly ARAM builds that I do.
I am loading into game.
Gotcha.
Again, it's going to be before timer.
Heard.
I usually just guess with the timer, and most of the time I'm wrong.
It's all right.
Because there's no telling how quick or slow these guys are going to be.
As we get to know each other, Ishan, I appreciate your honesty.
I got nothing to hide.
I appreciate it.
Alright. I'm in game. Gonna go in 3. Oh wait, hold up, actually. I just realized I'm playing like 3 songs. Okay. Gonna go in 3, 2, 1.
And we are live. Game 3 here at the Winter 2026 Aegis Marauder League. We have Femboys versus Final Boss, and we have a Rengar in the top lane. And I hear good things, Tvan, about how this will go.
God.
That hook is bad news for verticality.
Okay. Yeah,
Alright,
that
we're good.
sucks.
Okay, so this Rengar top lane. It is Inferno back in the top, in the top lane. Salt's returned to the mid lane for the Ahri, and we're still fighting for. Alrighty, and bush control for Finalists. We're not going to leave the spot lane, I don't think. They're going at it.
Yeah, I mean, once again, just if you have the sweeper, might as well. Rel does have like a little bit of presence in lane, a little bit more than something like an Alistar, where she can, be in her demount form, have the shield to play off of, as well as just being able to have that longer range. That is usually, it's a longer range than like anyone else. You can auto space if you're crazy, but especially when you pop your pot level 1 as verticality. You gotta try. You have to try and find some sort of space back to make the wave even possible to hit. But the more hooks that land and the more little chunks that you get, the worse that this lane will become.
Missing a few CS there. Verticality. This wave feels like it's in an awkward place there for King Coney to get it in. Good trading advantage here from Cody in the mid lane. Here. There are only 2 teleports in this whole map, 1 on Inferno and 1 on Codeine. So if you're going to be on the side of a map, you're going to be staying there.
Done. Ooh, the flash.
He's going to be flashing forward, trying to get it, but he's not going to get enough damage. Codeine's going to survive?
Yeah, he's
With,
got Biscuit if he needed to, but he's chilling. And he has TP, so big W. Okay, all eyes on Codeine. He got his bad for that cast game, but now he's on a champ that he can win on. And all good here on the Western Front.
Strong start from Codeine.
Thank God. I was a little worried about his mental health after that Caster game. 'Cause that's a rough one. And I mean that's joking, but also like that's a hard game to bounce back on. You know, like as a player, like sometimes it's games like that where you really feel like that's my bad. Speaking of his bad though, Venom might just.
Yama's gonna bully Venom here a little bit. I think he's gonna have to. Yep.
Oh
looking for it.
my
Takes
God.
2 turret shots. The lantern comes in clutch, but that was a very awkward exchange.
That was in
And
the way.
Eclipse is looking for this. They're gonna blow up the Mundo early on here. Yama's down. Flash out from the Thresh.
Don't do it.
Verticality.
Oh, he wants to W that wall so bad. I can just feel it.
Restrain yourself. Restrain yourself, Verticality. Priority in the top lane maintained. Yep. King Coney, I think, is going to keep this lane pushed in at all times. Venom's going to give him a little bit of coverage so he can get this wave pushed in.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, it's 3 minutes in, and the Syndra already has a Lost Chapter and an Amp Tome, which you gotta love, versus the Ahri having a Dark Seal. I think Codeine sold his Doran's Ring for the Lost Chapter, which is an interesting concept. But hey, you know, accelerate your lead a little bit. All in for Inferno here top, though. About to go Mega.
This. Level 6s aren't in yet. Yeah, misses the slam. He's not going to be able to get the stun out, but King Coney's going to be able to jump all over. Flashes exchange, but just missing the auto attack range for King Coney. He's going to have his advantage here top side, but that's both summoners burn for no kill. That's probably that's the worst or second worst version of the situation there for Coney.
Yeah, especially with Inferno having TP, he's going to be able to finally get a wave crashing. And that's a big wave for King Coney to miss, but there is a wave coming back. So he's not going to miss all that much, actually. Which feels really bad for Inferno. Because, yeah, it says on the screen right now that he's down, Inferno's down 1 wave, but it's more realistically that he's down about 2 waves with how much King Coney is about to collect here. And just that is going to start getting bigger and bigger the longer that this lane goes. But if Inferno is able to keep Rengar pushed in, this is kind of the one place where top Rengar can't play. Is under his tower. He has no bushes to play off of, so he can't poke at all. He kind of just has to face tank any damage that Inferno is doing. So if Inferno can just keep that push up, then he's able to continue to make the lane at least a little playable.
Salt cut down to half with that combo out of Codeine. Yeah, Codine's still doing well for this. Ult is available. Had the level 6 advantage for a second there. And Salt feigning for the back. He's going to want to try to catch this. Poke's going to hit. That feels a little rude from Codeine on that side.
I think if he wanted to, he could flash QR there and get the kill, but I think he's assuming that burning flash honestly isn't even worth the kill, which sounds a little silly, but if he burns flash, Yama can just run at him with Salt, with a Spirit Rush and a Charm, and he's just dead. So I do appreciate him saving the ult and not going for anything greedy. And just, I mean, you already have a lead. You don't really have the pressure to do anything.
No, this feels far more restrained and a little bit more calculated out of Final Boss on this occasion. The reality, as you're speaking to, is the Syndra with a flash is far more. It's a far more required summoner, and Eclipse is getting chunked out here. The traps, combined with the hook from Gum Johnson, doing a lot of good work here. But like we were saying, the Syndra has 1 mobility option. The Ahri has 3 to 4, depending on if the flash is available. So,
the lead bot lane has just been getting a little bit bigger and bigger as time goes. I mean, Rel has a pretty difficult time into Thresh. But now that Venom has level 6, he didn't even have to use his ult for the first dragon, which to me feels really criminal. But because of the way that mid is going, it makes sense. So Venom most likely wanted to go... I actually have no idea what he wants his first target to be with his first ult. Potentially top. But the rule about Nocturne is your first ult is kind of the game breaker. If you don't get a kill on your first ult, you're going to be really set behind. And your momentum is really bad. But if you can get the first kill going, then like that's when life really starts. Speaking of life
Ult
starting,
used by Salt here, dodged by Codeine. Hook does not land here, but the Mundo has arrived. It may not even matter here. Flay's going to come in. Codeine's going to get his ult off, but Salt will survive. Super Mega Death Rocket flies by, hits nothing, hits no one. And that's 3 committed for nothing. Counter blood acquired for Femboys, 8 minutes in. And this Mundo is heading on up to get some grugs. King Coney's going to have to respect that possibility. He's going to back. I don't know with how much gold is on hand.
He's been sitting those long swords for a decent chunk. Yeah, gets a good Tiamat. Allows him to have more lane pressure and push, something that Rengar does struggle with. And Nocturne still holding on to the ult. Maybe the first target is onto Jinx or Thresh here. I mean, they have a timing. Verticality has full sums as well to join this fight. Clip's gonna look for a flash onto Thresh if he looks for Pixel, and I think that's exactly what they're doing.
Good flay from Gum Johnson. Movie's going to try to give some help here with some damage here. Gum Johnson trying to walk this one out here. Does not have flash.
Wow.
He is dead. Verticality going to give some damage exchange with Moon Prince, but that will be that much. King Coney and Inferno fighting in the bush. Stunned and ulted into the wall here. He's going to be able to get the heal off. Codine's going to be in trouble in mid lane as well. Mundo is arriving. Flash is used. King Coney has activated his Primal Hunt. He's going to be able to get the run down. Meganar goes down. And Codine survived the gank mid. A lot of action across the board here. A lot of deaths happening. No one on the side of Final Boss dies. Femboys starting to get in a little bit of trouble here. Codine's still hanging around. But Eclipse is available, trying to get the CC immunity. And the ultimate and the Nocturne ult is good for. The Mundo's going to survive with his mega heal. But that's going to be advantage for Final Boss as we roll towards 10 minutes.
And that's the kind of acceleration you need for Final Boss. Try to get a big lead before Mundo can get tanky. We were talking about it during the break, and we're talking about it in Champ Select. It is a ticking time bomb, this Mundo and this Jinx. If you can't get a big enough lead to until they hit their second, third item, and Mundo becomes an immovable object, then the game is just over. Just keep pushing the waves, keep pushing the tempo, and keep using just every Nocturne ult and making sure that it is a high percentage play and get the map going. Keep the Syndra fed because she is already very strong. Probably going to hit first item on this next recall. The first item on Nocturne already completed as well. Trinity Force really close for Corki. Like, they're feeling really solid right now. But it's just like, the scary thing about Final Boss's team is one mess up, one bad play will make this game nearly impossible to play.
Yeah, their entire comp is on a knife's edge. This is one of those. This is a high execution comp that they have put themselves into. They have chosen themselves into, and Coney has to secure. The moment the Syndra gets behind, it'll be similar to how Assault was with that Aurora. If Cody cannot actually 0-1 either the Ahri or the Jinx, then there is no viability. There's no utility in the Syndra. Big damage exchange here. Salt's going to ult early to actually get on in, gets the charm off, and that's going to be bad news for Final Boss. King Coney goes down here with the roam from Salt. Kill goes to the Ahri, it looks like. Good play, good roaming play out from Femboys. Bot lane is populated. It looks like the Nocturne has pulled the dragon out. It's going to start taking this. Codine's going to try to play buffer, and Femboys are going to give that one over.
Yeah, kill onto Gnar, because Ahri got the kill onto Syndra earlier, so kill on the Gnar for dragon, and Codine still is the silent winner. I mean, he's slowly creeping up, almost a full level up on this Ahri Eclipse, giving it good vision for the Nocturne.
Everything's gone dark here, and I'm sorry, Salt, but you're not going to be able to see the light of day when it is over. Kill, 6 kill acquired for Final Boss. Yama and Johnson trying to get something out of this here. Inferno's here to provide some damage and support, but this feels like a very awkward use of what they've got. Codine's going to be taken down. Kill given over to Inferno. And now we're just running through Final Boss's jungle? This feels like a very atypical play but I guess we're just following on that this one gets to go where they please. They're going to get engaged on here. Magnet Storm used. I'm sorry, Eclipse, you're down here. They don't got the damage. The Rengar's going to have to jump from bush to bush to try to escape, but he is going to be using a lot of heal, but this Mundo is online. He's going to take out Coney. I think we're hitting a panic button, and Final Boss has some problems.
I mean, the silent winner there is Verticality. He's able to get some good plates and some solo XP. But I completely agree with you. There's no reason to make that play. Just give him the red buff and let them leave, man. Like, you're gonna kill him with what damage? Codine's still saving the sun though. The last charge.
He's using this. He's been predicting the last few shots very well. He's gonna get the stun off. He's gonna get the ult. The shield might actually save him. Gum Johnson.
Wow.
You had a very horrible first map, and the last couple of things I've seen from Gum Johnson's Alistar to now this Thresh with that shield, this is going very well. I appreciate what I'm saying out of the support right now. Timing, positioning on the map, reading the play, and being there to save his mid laner. Fantastic work. And we're going to be turning the lights off again. Eclipse, stun is going to hit. Kill's going to go over to Codeine, exactly where you want. I'm sorry, but that is going to be a dead Jinx one more time. Gum Johnson, you were nearby, not there for your Jinx. Going to have to take the markers off of you. You're going to be degraded down to an A-.
Yeah, that's quite the unfortunate one. That is a immobile 80 carry into Nocturne POV, if I've ever seen one. And that's exactly why the Thresh is so important, is to be able to provide the Lantern for that Jinx. But when the Thresh takes a roam timer in mid, that's a perfect timer for Venom to strike towards the bot lane. Exposed Jinx means a free kill. And further acceleration for the Corki, who's now about 900 gold up on the Jinx after that cannon, if he was allowed to get it, but he's not.
No flash used from the Corki. He's kind of staying solid for it. He's going to survive for a while. Barrier used. He's going to live.
Wow.
Yeah, mid lane goes down. Salt goes down to the turret, and that is not an advantage. The hook lands onto Eclipse, but he's going to be able to walk that off. So not the best decision there from Femboys. Did not get what they want. And get the total gold off the screen. I want to check and see how the summoners are doing.
I mean, the worrying thing is Corki has no flash still, and Dragon is going to be our next fight. But looking at the items, Manamune is most likely going to be online for Corki. It's not quite going to be upgraded to the point of Mana for this dragon, but Manamune itself is still a solid item. Most likely the Stride Breaker is going to be finished on Nocturne as well, and I don't think Jinx will have her second item by the time that this dragon is spawned and fought for, so I will favor Final Boss. However, just the team fight comp itself of Femboys is a little bit more useful. And it doesn't even seem like Femboys is that interested in Dragon setup early on, as they're just fully all-inning the Rift Herald and playing towards a topside swap for Moon Prince just to get more gold on that top tier 1. But that allows them just to push through bot from the tier 2 and potentially take this mid tier 1. I mean, Arya's roaming topside. They can get the first hit on the wave and trade tier 1s, but I take the tier 1 of mid any day. And especially if you get a kill on Salt here, like, what?
Lights are off again, and Salt, he finally gets a sight on him. He's going to be able to get follow-up Q to actually secure the kill. Venom with a great move. And Moon Prince, I'm sorry, you've been left alone with a Rengar, and I don't think that's what you wanted. He's going to be able to keep the distance. The rest of Femboys are still hanging out around top lane here. Herald is held by Yama, but like we said, the mid lane tier 1 has been taken for just the tier 1 top. Turret lead is still in the favor of Final Boss. Herald's going to be used on this tier 2. A lot of good gold brought over. Way I go where I please has been taken off the Mundo, and it's going to be an evening up of the turret counts, it looks like. Final Boss kind of had a recall. I'm not really sure about their decisions about where they want to go, where they want to be. I think they're trying to defend this, but Femboys are going to be out before the Corki arrives, and this is going to provide free push for Inferno. I think they're looking for a fight, but it feels like a misappropriation, a misallocation of where Final Boss should have their pieces on the map. Dragon will be secured.
And the whole time, yeah, they're taking Dragon, and they're going to flank Inferno for overstaying while the rest of his team is recalling. So it's just tempo swing after tempo swing after tempo swing. It's chess players starting to trade down all their pieces, and it might be the Mundo next.
He has not done maximum dose yet. Has put off the W to try to save it, but I think he's trying to save his ultimate for a more important fight. It's 2 minutes till Baron. So a bit of a questionable bit of positioning out of Inferno and Yama back to back here. This is just going to give the Avenge back over to final boss, and lights out again. Nocturne flying in. I'm sorry, you want to play the game.
Ooh!
The hook misses to try to save the situation, I guess. Moon Prince is down. Gum Johnson running for his life as Venom just keeps wailing on him. And I think Femboys have lost the plot.
It's just staggered plays. This is when you start to slow down and become like exhausted after playing your third game of League of Legends. You know, it's also a Tuesday, maybe having school or work earlier on. Mentally, you're getting exhausted. It's starting to hit 10 p.m. on the eastern side. You start to just make dumb plays and go on autopilot. Salt now at 1-5, so behind on this Ahri, just constantly getting hit by these Syndra stuns in quirky combos. And again, this isn't even quirky with full Murr mana, and he's hitting like a truck. This Mundo is close to getting his Deadmans online though, but it's still just getting a little bit scary. Essence Reaver is going to be the second item of King Coney. I was curious what his build was going to be, because I know there's like the occasional bruiser, but is he going crit after? We'll have to wait and see. That's also something I'm curious about, where he's going with that build. As you know, not very well up on my Rengar top builds, but he might just kill Salt here if he lands this root. Oh, he doesn't. Never mind.
Root not acquired. Clips, I think you're caught out in your jungle, but not where you want to be. Flash used. Gonna mount up to get away, but a decent play on the side of final boss.
Oh.
And bot lane, I'm sorry, your ult got used here. King Coney's got to get the jump on and secure the kill on Assault. I am so sorry. I feel so bad for Assault after the last match where he absolutely was carrying on the Aurora. This Ahri has not been allowed to get into the kind of position that I believe he wanted to be. And I was not expecting this. I'm remembering of when you have, like, what is it? If you think of the Karthus like LeBlanc matchup, and Froggen had this like baller statement back in the day where it's like, yeah, well, you shouldn't really win that matchup because LeBlanc can dodge around everything. And he's like, yeah, but I never miss my cues. And that's what I've seen out of Codeine on this Syndra, just a series of landing, just a full 3 spell combo onto Salt, and has just abused him and neutralized him. And now at 1-6, Salt's just having to figure out how to be the best ward on the map as possible, while Venom here at 3-0-8 on this Nocturne is just able to feed whichever side lane he wants, whether it is Codeine or it is King Coney. So this is going really well right now for final boss.
Yeah, Syndra is one of those champions that is very good into Ahri, but I think the reason that she doesn't get that much presence in like the higher echelon tiers is because he's immobile. Like we see, Ahri is very mobile and able to get away from Nocturne ults. If that was a Syndra, he would be dead. And, you know, with how reliant mid laners are on side laning in the mid to late game, Syndra really can't side lane. And when she does, it's very scary. Obviously, she can do it right now due to the fact that the engage from Femboys is very unreliable. But if, you know, they had things like Vi, Talia, or a Pantheon, he would just die immediately. Speaking of dying immediately, Eclipse, maybe in the mid? Ah, it's fine. Just kidding.
This is where we want to actually point out the engage options on the side of Femboys is just a walk at them option. Unless Inferno gets a flank or there's a good hook off of Gem Jensen or a flash charm from Salt, Femboys are going to really struggle to try to come back from this 6.3k deficit. And that this is kind of where the timer is still on final boss to close this game out, which I have very high confidence from what I've seen out of final boss to close this game out. But right now, Femboys, their only option is to kind of farm and really to funnel as much farm as they can onto this Jinx. This is their last saving grace, is this Jinx.
Yeah, that Jinx is only 2 items though, and Corki just really hit his Hexopics, and he has an Executioners. I mean, Jinx is sitting on a lot of gold that we don't see. Probably like 1.5 in her pocket right now. But still, that's not a full item compared to what Corki has. And this is a great time for Final Boss to fight. They want this fight.
Yeah, and Jinx going to be untouched, though. He's been able to actually... Moonprint's allowed to unload here. Corki's going to go 1v3 here, kind of on the front lines. The Nocturne has flashed in, out of sync here. King Kony's finally arrived, and it looks like Inferno. He's going to get a triple man stun. He's going to get the kill onto 1, onto 2 here. Mundo is going face tanking into Venom, and he's going to get that kill. Big shutdown, 950 gold onto the Mundo. That's not what you want. Codeine going to do his best, but Mundo's going to go where he pleases. Maximum Dose doing its job, keeping him alive. And that looks like a 2-for-2 exchange. That's an even fight with a 5.5k goal lead. A messy fight. Venom and King Kony not synced up on that engage. Moonprince did go down, but had a lot of early time and opportunity. I'm pretty sure it was Codeine that took care of him. And now we're in this really awkward place. The Cloud Drake's up. And this would be sole point here, but Verticality, he's hooked. He's done.
God. That hook is absolutely massive. And it really is just... I was about to say that fight looked really good. Honestly, the trades of kills that did happen was really solid, but because Verticality and Codeine are still alive, but that hook completely saving the fight for the side of Femboys. The thing about Final Boss is they all dove, but then they decided to turn onto Mundo when the Corki was clicking forward, diving the back line, whereas the Rengar and Nocturne were the ones dealing with Mundo. You kind of have to commit fully to the back line and kill everything around the Mundo, and then play with the Corki to kill the Mundo. He's not quite... No one is strong enough to kill the Mundo except for him, especially because he almost has that Mortal Reminder online already. So... he's still really strong, though. As much as, yes, they lost the dragon, and yes, they lost that fight, that was their soul. They could look for a fight right now. Look at how strong this Corki is. He's decimating them compared to Jinx, but if you're getting caught out before Corki can even get on base, like, what do you even do?
Yeah, this is poor map positioning here on the side of Final Boss here. Kill score shored up here, 16 to 10, and it's still in Final Boss's lead, but that 6k gold lead has been brought down to 2.8 now. Good poke. Salt brought low. But we're in a very scary place right now. And Yama is just going to walk forward. Super Mega Death Rocket comes out a little early here. Art Steel. And King Kony's gone into the backline, but he's just going to get blown up here. He's going to get his stream off to actually get some heal, but he is just buying time here. Codeine gets hooked, and that's going to be a dead Syndra. Moonprince getting activated, and I'm sorry, Vertical, you're going to be able to dodge something, but he's going to go back in here. I'm sorry, he's gone nutty, and they're trying to just get this Jinx put down, but there's just not much else really to be done here by Final Boss. Femboys, they're in control of this map. I don't care what the gold lead is anymore. Femboys are online. That is a 3-for-3 exchange, but there is nothing stopping that Yama just walking forward on this Mundo and basically putting the fear of God into Final Boss. They cannot kill him, and they cannot stop him from walking at them and just threatening them with violence.
Yeah, I think Mundo got a 1k shutdown in that dragon fight, and just barely Jinx got the shutdown onto Verticality, so a lot of gold hitting the pockets of Femboys. The 2 carries of Mundo and Jinx now hitting their 3rd item spike. Mortal Reminder being finished for Verticality, so he's still up a full item on this Jinx. But that Mundo is still getting deadlier and deadlier. They need to wait for Syndra to get her 3rd item and maybe look for a pick towards Baron. But honestly, and this is the same thing that happened in Game 2 and it happened in Game 1, is they just keep getting picked over and over again. They need to play off of their own tempo instead of just like, why is Rel in the top side against a Thresh Ahri in their Nocturne as bot side? Jungle and support need to link up and play with the side lanes. They got Spirit Rush out, which is nice, and they didn't have to burn any flashes, but it's just the idea and concept behind their positioning is just incorrect, objectively. Oh my god, she's dead.
We're engaging on, and I'm sorry, but that's going to be a dead Moonprince. This might actually be Baron. Poor positioning, and then they jump on it. Mundo's going to utilize the best he can. He's going to be taken out here. No maximum dose usage used already. So, welcome to pull the trigger, and now you get a free worm. So, Femboys, they were in the driver's seat about 6 seconds ago, was that, Tvan? And now Final Boss have found an opening. Moonprince just left out, no lantern available to him, just jumped on by Venom and Co. and blown up.
And the worst part is, like, the salt in the wound is the lantern came up after Moonprince died, and it was like to the Ahri that was right next to him too. Like, if I'm Moonprince and I go out of the replay or out of the gray screen and out of the shadow of Nocturne, and I see a lantern right next to my Thresh, and I didn't get it, it wasn't even close to me. I'm a little tilted. I might deafen and just like blast the music and just chill out. Corki already close to halfway until IE. This guy is still Thanos. I mean, just all eyes on him. If he can get on top of anyone, he just one-taps them. But if he gets hooked by Thresh, then that might just be the game.
We're already being pushed on over for this Cloud Drake. Femboys want to deny it.
He's forcing his 5.
They are pushing all his 5. They want to get Eclipse. I don't know if this is a good pick for the side of Femboys, but I think this guy puts Codeine and the rest of them in a really awkward place here. Stuns up. Codeine, I'm sorry, you're dead. I don't know why you're here. The positioning on the side of Femboys, the communication, the coordination has fallen apart here. They're going to lose this Drake. Verticality is doing his level best to try to trade out across the map. He's going to be able to get the inhibitor turret. Salt's called back to reply so he doesn't get the full inhib. Verticality's got to find his way out, but that's going to be second Drake given on over to Femboy. Soul point denied for Final Boss. And now we're in a very awkward place here. Baron is still on 4 of the 5 on the side of Final Boss, but the waves are more or less in their favor. That is a close catch. Almost found Verticality in a bush with his pants down, and that would have been very, very unfortunate.
Sometimes the thing that you just have to do, the correct play, is just doing nothing, and that's something that we need to be teaching and instilling into Eclipse sometimes, is just chill. Just wait for Venom to finish one more camp. Let King Conan and Codeine finish one more wave so that you can link up with them. I know you need wards, and I know we want to set up for Dragon, but we need to set up as a team. Wait for Verticality to catch that mid wave, and then we walk in together. Things like that need to be communicated. Verticality now has IE. I know I keep talking about Verticality's items, but it's because he is the carry of this game. Yeah, Syndra is strong, but it's all up to Verticality, and how much damage can he output on the Mundo and past the Mundo is going to determine the game. Can he get enough damage down to win the game and win the team fight, or will it be Jinx getting a first reset on either King Coney or Venom or whoever is hooked, and then he completely takes over the fight? That is all what it's up to, but Salt might be the first target.
Salt's going to dash away here. That's a decent use here. It's going to get rid of that ultimate, but I don't really know what they're trading for. There's no objectives on the map, so they're just going to use Venom's ult for not really much gain. The Ahri ult still, I believe, is on a super low cooldown, especially with that item.
Malignance.
Yeah. So...
I mean, I'm assuming Venom has Ultimate Hunter. He's level 16, so his ult is also going to be a low cooldown. To be honest, if they got Salt's Flash there, that's a huge trade, and that's a really good play. And I think that's kind of what they were looking for is, there's nothing on the map. We might as well shoot for it. We don't lose anything, really, if we don't get it. And if we do get it, we probably get a bot tier 2, and we get a Flash, which is going to be huge for the next Dragon fight for the Soul point, or for the Soul. And yeah, I mean, they didn't get anything, and who cares? We can just reset and go back.
So I was watching this actually while you were running through that. Nocturne's ult has been up for the better part of the last minute, and Ahri's ult is only about to come up in the next 5, maybe just now. So there is a time window if Final Boss are playing like that close on the numbers, where they could redive the Ahri and actually pull the ult, and then re-ult with Venom, and actually snipe Salt out of the jungle. So there is actually a clear opportunity here with just how the scaling and how we are getting later and later in the game. Level 17 on the Nocturne, level 18 on Verticality. We are big level difference actually across level 18 now on the Syndra. There's still a lot of power, a lot of gold, and major XP advantages on the side of Final Boss. But now we're at the point where Baron's up in a minute. I don't know if they want to give over this Cloud Drake, third Cloud Drake, over to Femboys and kind of put us in a big... Oh, we might actually get a catch here. Inferno's going to jump on over to try to spot, but they're going to get out. And look where King Coney is here. Bot side, untouched. He's been able to push the wave all the way up to the inhibitor turret. The full court pressure. Full court pressure has been applied by Final Boss at this point. Here's some of that good, big, meta, macro play here on the side of Final Boss.
Yeah, it's good macro. They're looking for a pick on their top side. They didn't know that they were awarded, but they didn't commit too much to it where they got hooked and got picked off right before Baron. And because Femboys is just so inherently excited or maybe nervous to just lose the game, they over-rotated and gave up bot. But again, they don't really lose anything in bot lane, as King Coney can't really stay for that long to be able to get any sort of towers or anything impactful. Now they swap back to bot side where Baron is up and Baron has spawned, but it looks like they're looking to set up for Dragon. It is their soul, which is a superior buff for them. However, I don't think they can win unless they have Baron Eclipse. Once again, is the first target and misses the crash down over the wall.
This is not so good. Inferno's trying to isolate him on the side. This is actually giving River priority over to Femboys. They do have the spirit to team fighting option. They're going to burst down this Cloud Drake. Teleport's come on over. Rengar is going to be able to come on through. Ult not activated. Trying to find the fight afterwards. Trying to get out. Big stun. And I think they're waiting for the bit. Gnar ult is going down. He's going to be mini soon, but they're going to be able to get out scot-free.
I mean, they can just go Baron if they really want to and force a fight there. They have the pressure. They have the first move. And I think that's exactly what they should do. Yeah, there's a ward on Baron from Thresh, but it should be swept out from Rel. No, Rel went blue side, so they're not going to... Maybe they see it? I think they do see it from that sweeper. So they're able to rush down Baron because everyone just recalled, and they can play turn with Codeine and with Eclipse on the right timing. King Coney should have ult on the backside of this fight as well on the chase. But the fact that Mundo's already up, it's going to be a smite fight, and he steals it. Oh my god.
Flash and steal. Mundo has gone in. W's gone out. Maximum dose has been taken. Codeine is super low. Mundo's going to try to run away, but Eclipse has gone into the middle of the fight here. And I'm sorry, but Final Boss, they're on their last legs here. Codeine not able to get much done here. The rest of Femboys are full health here. All the damage put into the Mundo, it just wasn't enough. Baron has been stolen. Gold lane might be in Final Boss's favor, but they are not going to get it. And holy. So that's what a Rengar can do.
Yeah, unfortunately, Final Boss just didn't communicate, are we finishing the Baron or are we going to play for the fight? Half of the team went for the fight, half the team went for the Baron, and so they lost both sides. They're able to just allow Mundo to walk up, steal the Baron, and then from there, they're already low HP and low resistances, and with Rengar dying, they might just lose the game here.
They have no wave clear on their side. It's just the Corki to try to clear these Baron up minions. I don't think they've got a chance here. Flash on in here, and Verta's going to try to get the jump here. Verticality is still alive here, trying to do some damage, but this Mundo is taking too long to die. Last Auto's going to get it. Verticality doing the best he can, but Inferno is coming up clutch here, taking out the Rengar, and now taking out Inferno, but the minions, Verticality, Codeine, do what they can. The Nexus goes down, and let me check my record. Third loss for Final Boss Coney Island. Hits him right in the chest. The Femboys come out of nowhere after a very soft and very poor first map, and they run the reverse sweep after 2 maps of absolute up and down madness. They even finished that map with a gold lead. Final Boss finished that map with a gold lead, and they still lose to Femboys by pure tenacity, pure just basic teamfight tankiness, and indexing properly into just the easy to play one, the easy executable one on the day here.
Yeah, I mean, they just had the easier comp to play and made less mistakes. They just kept clumping up as a team, and Final Boss Coney Island didn't really identify that. They just kept looking to contest mid every single reset, and it was Eclipse that kept getting caught out on every ward, and every try any single rotation that was happening. Verticality really didn't have a lot of time to play, and as well as Codeine playing really fast in those team fights, using spells really fast, the stuns, and also positioning in a way we're always getting hit by either meat cleavers into death sentences or just a raw dog death sentence from the Thresh. And the game is all about if Jinx gets excited first before the rest of the team fight is practically won at that point, then he's just going to fully wipe. And that's exactly what we saw on that last Baron. They were so close every single time. If they had Cloud Soul, that game is completely different. But because they threw 3 Drakes in a row, it just was so difficult for them to actually clutch back in and be on the same page as a team and get back going, and get that game-winning soul. And from there, they just struggled and ended up losing the Nexus after one bad fight.
Yeah, it really is. Especially if we look at this gold graph advantage, where around 21 minutes, Final Boss was in the driver's seat, and they were on a timer. They were on a timer from the moment the Mundo and especially the Jinx were selected in the draft. And we even saw it there at the end, where the Rengar can bully on the Gnar on the top side, but eventually the Gnar just ends up actually winning that exchange, especially with some tanky building to give the mini Gnar some space. There was just no counter. A 36-minute game means that this Jinx gets online. This Jinx can put out the damage. The Mundo gets online, and no one on the side of Final Boss could kill him. And when we saw that there at the Nexus at the final fight, and so much of Verticality's damage had to be pumped into the Mundo to kill him, if any of that could have been gone over to Salt or to the Jinx, there might have been a last second save, but buried under the weight of their own mistakes and throwing their opportunities, not prioritizing where they need to be and how they need to actually like fully manage the map. And so Final Boss Coney Island will have their third loss inside of this Winter League, putting them at 4-3. And let me check and double check where we are all together as we are in week 8.
Last week before playoffs.
Thank you. We are in the last week before playoffs, and this is gonna put some pressure on Final Boss. They had the strongest start in the entire league up until their most recent losses, and now this third one, and they're getting into some trouble here. They're getting into some trouble.
Yeah, but I really think that their mistakes and their path to improvement is extremely clear for them. And if their staff that are behind them, it should just be a very easy VOD review and a very easy conversation with them as a team of what is going wrong and how do we fix it. Then the scrims to come, just be on the same page, talk about timers, talk about what we want to be doing, and make sure that the jungle support are linking with side lanes, and playing through side lanes more, because their side lanes are very strong when they have the resources, and so is Verticality. But it's the fact that there's a mismanagement of timings in all 3 of their members, or all 5 of their members. It just makes things really difficult for everyone. So, and I think that's something that can you easily solve with a conversation within the VOD review and outside of the VOD review going into a scrim set. So I think Final Boss still has a very great chance of making it deeper into the playoffs and making it to the playoffs. But Femboys also stood a really good chance. They're a very strong core of individuals, and they have a good sense in drafting, other than, there are a couple of weird drafts here and there and maybe a misread of meta. But overall, I feel like they have a really solid grasp of how they want to play, and it seems to be very successful when they play that way.
Right, indeed. Well, next round of things on the way. Not sure exactly who's facing who on the next layer or the next level of this tournament, but I don't know, very very interesting to see Final Boss Coney Island that had, like I said, started out so strong and had such a great conviction when I watched and casted them against Mid Impact, and it's very shocking to sort of see how the way they wanted to index into these last 2 maps just felt like they incidentally had to index into Verticality instead of really indexing into verticality earlier on in the matches. Kind of feel like that's a divorce from what was making them strong, where they kind of left King Coney on an island and allowed the mid jungle and bot lane to make the magic happen. So don't know if they're going through some growing pains. Like you said, VOD reviewing this would be probably do wonders for them, and I think I think we can sort of start rounding this one out here.
Yeah, I think that's the end of it for tonight. Obviously, still another round of playoffs and then potentially playoffs in the future. But for tonight, that should be it. Obviously, a tough loss for Final Boss. End score being 1-2 against Femboys. A brutal game 3, but still a lot to take away from. But until then, guys, have a great rest of your night and a safe week. And we'll catch you on the flip side in the next game that we got.